One thing I'll tell you, the funniest with Rasheed Wallace, I get checked in the game in the first half. He gets the ball in the post, and I'm right behind him in the post. He takes the ball, he looks, and he sees me guarding him. He yells at the coach, "Y'all put this motherfucker on me?" Come on, you never went to the sideline, looked at the defensive coordinator and be like, "This motherfucker can't guard me."
I'm going to go there. I remember when they would put Jimmy Leonard or there was another safety, a white safety. I'm like, you can't put a white guy on me, dude. Welcome to Games with Names. I'm Julian Edelman. They're Jack and Kyler, and we are on a mission to find the greatest game of all freaking time. And on today's episode, we are covering the Scalabrine game. Game 5 of the 2004 Eastern Conference Semifinals with NBA vet, Boston legend, the White Mamba himself, Brian Scalabrine. We get into talking how he became the White Mamba.
So in Chicago, I really embraced it. Like, I didn't care what the score was. I was going out there to get a bucket, right? I'm getting a bucket for the people.
Playing pickup with Cooper Flagg.
First possession, he goes to the right. He pump fakes. He throws it up off the back and he dunks it, right? The gym was silent.
And a wild Larry Bird story at the very, very end.
I guess Dominique told me this story one time about Larry Bird, and Bird got the ball and he really wanted Dominique to guard him. So I guess, this is the story. I haven't seen it, but this is the story.
And then we wrap it up by hitting the old hotline. You got to stick around to the end. Let's go. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. May 14th, 2004. The Palace at Auburn Hills, Michigan.
The Jersey Boys versus the Bad Boys would need a lot more than regulation to settle this one.
But the red hot White Mamba would show up big. This is the Scalabrine game.
That's what like the NBA is turned into right now. And I know like football has a different structure, but the NBA is basically like, you better have fuck you money, and you're gonna spend it and not get it back. And then maybe like in 10 years, the team will gain value. But in the meantime, you're gonna pay fucking tax after tax. You're not gonna make any money.
Wait, so you're talking about investing into an NBA team?
Yeah, like you make money like when you buy it and then when you sell it. Yeah.
And then there's probably a lot of overhead. And
yeah, well, like if you're good, I don't know how football works, but like in the NBA, if you're good, you pay the most and you might lose the most. But if you suck, you get a fat check at the end of the year. How is that fucking possible?
I don't know. I don't know the NBA rules at all.
Yeah, it's all based off of taxes. Like the better you are, the more salary, the more tax. Like, and then you win and you sign everybody back. The tax was 1, now it's 2.
Yeah.
Just like that. And it's like really, they don't want like the same teams to be good for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's why it's interesting, like the Patriots, how they fucking stayed on top. It's like impossible because, first of all, your schedule gets harder.
Yeah.
And then like if you're really good, guys go other places to get paid.
Yeah.
So like how you, like it's really,
well, there's a couple reasons. There's this guy named Tom Brady.
Fucking Tom. Yeah. But that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do. Yeah, let's get it going. Welcome to Games with Names. We have a very special guest, and we are talking over the 2004 Eastern Conference Semifinals, Game 5, Nets versus the Pistons with Brian Scalabrine. Welcome to the studio, man.
I love the concept, and the studio is nice, man. As soon as you guys reached out and I said, oh, man, like when you think about pro sports, a lot of people remember games, but there's so many backstories to every game to how something unfolds, or maybe a locker room fight that happened right before, and then next thing you know, you're going out and playing the game, and now you're kind of unfolding all that. I love the concept, and I appreciate the invite.
Oh, we appreciate you coming. Playing in Boston for 12 years, I always saw this big ass white dude at anything to do with something Boston. I see you there.
Oh yeah.
So you're such a legend here, and it's an honor to have you in the studio. And we start out with our guest. The first question we always give them: can you sum up why you picked this game in one sentence?
I mean, it was a nasty game that I actually played well in. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
17. triple overtime.
Corner three when it mattered most.
Yeah.
No
And
foreshadowing.
a big rebound.
A lot of other
Yeah,
stuff.
and I just thought, like, there's so much that went into this game. And from the, like the Pistons, we were the team and we crushed them. But that year they traded for Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
And he's a difference maker. I don't care what anybody says. Like Rasheed Wallace, like when he's on the floor, you know where he's at. He's on the floor offensively, defensively, you just know where he's at all times. So they have them. Now we're matching up. We're getting a little bit older. Like kid is dealing with a knee injury. So it really evened the playing field out.
Yeah.
And the series, obviously, at this point, going into Game 5, like they whooped our ass in 1 and 2, and then we whooped their ass in 3 and 4. So, like at this point, the games haven't really been like epic or close. But in everything kind of sometimes in the NBA, it's a feel out series, and 5 is that determining swing game.
Hell yeah.
And that's exactly what this was.
Wow. Now, is this the greatest game of all time?
No, it's not the greatest game. It's my greatest game of all time.
Hey, let's go,
Given
baby.
the magnitude and like where I was, where I grew up, where I came from, and the opportunity to play in a game like this, it's my greatest game of all time. Like I've had more points in meaningless games. When we win by this, I get in there and I get going, but nothing where like the stakes were this high and the tension. And I don't know about you, but like I live for that shit, man. I just like when it's a thing that you can't replicate. I wish I was a better player because I can experience that more. But like the heightened sense of awareness of the playoffs, the details going into that, like all that stuff, like I just thrive in that environment. You watch, like I know you guys prepare once a week. That's very similar to the way we prepare for the playoffs, right? But in the regular season, it's 10 clips, move on. 10 clips. Let's watch 5 clips of what we did and 10 clips of what we need to do. But in the playoffs, it's deep dive every day. Like you get your book, like you guys get your book, and we go through every play, every option. And so it's just like that felt real and that felt like very meaningful.
Hell yeah. I mean, playoff anything, when it's do or die, it just brings the stakes up. Yeah. And when I get into prepare mode for those kind of situations, I always am the guy who's like, I don't want to come up with the I wish I would have at the end of this game.
Yep.
So I always prepared more. I always caught 50 to 100 more balls than I'm supposed to. Or, you go do an extra, prehab lift, or you do an extra lift of the week. You eat a little better. You just all these little things because you don't want to be on the couch the next week watching a goddamn series or a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then sometimes you're probably, it seems like you're a do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do this. Was there ever a point where it became like, man, I'm freaking doing too much. I need to.
Yeah, that's how I retired. That's my body. My body broke down. I had one.
When you're like, man, those 50 catches, man, I got to go back in the ice tub.
You know what? That's honestly probably one of the reasons why my body broke down the way it did is because I never stopped training during the whole year.
Yeah.
It was because I had an insecurity of like I didn't want people to catch me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you don't let your body rest, you're going to break down. That's kind of what happened.
We call that in the league. It's like for me, for this to happen and for me to consistently play well, it's like living on Mount Everest. Like if you stumble on Mount Everest, you die.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have so much freaking talent that they can stumble in the plains and just get up and dust themselves off and move on to the next day. But for me to be operating at that level, like just, like whatever my gifts are and where I came from or whatever it may be, like I'm living on a mountaintop right there, right? And like every step is important. Every detail is important. Like if I had 2 beers and I'm screwed the next day, right? Like I got to be on point. And sometimes you lose a game and you're emotional. You're just like, man, screw that. Give me the steak and give me 2 beers. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna like take my mind off of what I just did. Well, I'm gonna pay the price later, right? So it's really hard. Like it was really hard for me. I played 11 years. I was really fortunate and all that. But like for me to be playing well, I'm living on Mount Everest.
Hell yeah, you got to. So what are you up to these days? You do a bunch of TV. You have fun with the parade talk. The championship. You're pretty much part of the team.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, I love the journey. The only thing is, what's crazy is I always think it's really difficult to win a championship, right?
We're talking Celtics. I didn't slate the team.
Yeah. So 2024 NBA champ, Boston Celtics. Like every championship run typically is really difficult. Like, I don't know, like a moment here, a moment there, like a play here, whatever. Even like like us in '08, like we went to Game 7 with Atlanta, and they were an 8 seed, we were a 1 seed. Like everything's a grueling battle. Man, this Celtic team was so freaking good. Like they almost, I mean, Porzingis played a little bit, but they almost like coasted to a championship without one of their better players.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? That's how good they were. And, you know, it's going to be hard, like the league and the NBA catches up, right? The gap that you make when the Golden State Warriors did what they did, they jumped out to a massive lead, but then the NBA catches up quickly. So I think a lot of teams are gunning for them this year. But before that, it's just in general, like they were so far ahead of everybody else that I don't think anybody could have touched them.
Yeah. No, it was almost surreal to watch. Like it didn't even seem really competitive.
No, not at all. That's what I thought. I know they would tell you something different.
They're in the heat of it.
Yeah.
Like seeing that, I was like, man, they're that good?
Yeah.
Or they're just smoking fools.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even close.
It's not supposed to look like that. I think this year will be more of a reflection of what true professional sports are. Like, you know, when you get good, you get pulled different directions and you're trying to stay the course, and the playoffs come and you're going to be tested, and people are working with you. Like you got a bullseye on your chest all summer long. So I do think that gap will close a little bit. And, you know, like, and the glaring thing for the C's going next year is Al Horford, Porzingis. Like those guys, Porzingis has to stay healthy. Al Horford's getting up there in age, but Al was awesome last year.
He's ageless.
No, I know. Well, you've been around a guy like that too.
I know.
It's truly amazing.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because when I was on my vacation, when I was suspended in 2018, I actually went to the Celtics facility because I was still rehabbing my knee. I tore my ACL, and so when I was away from the team, I would go into the Celtics facility every day, and the guy that was like the most professional, like businessman, looked like a pro, Al Horford.
Oh my God.
You know, just when it came to like being a professional athlete, getting there early, getting his shit in, his treatment. Because, you know, I was hanging around the boys and they were letting me rehab there and stuff. And it was fucking cool to see. But he was just consummate professional.
Yeah.
He's just a pro.
Yeah.
And that's why he's having such a lengthy career. You know, he eliminates distraction. He does everything for his game. And it's awesome to see him get one.
Yeah. I always say, like, I try to tell people, like, obviously Al Horford's gifted. Like, you can't get to that. He's so good. And he's really smart. But, like, being a pro like that, it's just doing all the simple stuff every single day. Yeah. It's not like they have some magical drill that they use or this trainer that they have or they do this workout. Yeah. Like every time you go down in the hotel, he's down there stretching, working. He does his prehab before the game. He does all the stuff every single day and he doesn't miss a day. And so I asked him, I go, well, what are you going to do next year? Like you could tell it meant a lot to him. He's like, nah, I feel good. Like, I'm just going to trust my work and trust my preparation, and I'm going to be consistent with it, right? Everybody, all these young kids, they want some special thing, but it's just being consistent with what you're doing.
You know, my dad would always say, life's hard, but it's simple. We all know what we have to do.
Yeah.
It's just hard to always do it.
Yeah. You
know, having a guy like Al Horford is not just good for, you know, his performance and how he is, but it's as an example for the younger guys to watch in the locker room.
For sure.
You know, I'm pretty excited to see what they do this year because, you know, like Scal said, I mean, these leagues, everyone, when you're America's Most Wanted now, that's where they're at. They're the measuring stick. You're circled every night. And that's 80. What is it, 86 games?
82.
82.
Got to embrace the bullseye.
Every night.
When
you're the champ, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay on the top.
And we go to arenas, so you have to tell me, like, when you hit the road, did the Patriot fans travel? Like,
yeah, we would travel, but it's different in certain. Like if we were playing a team we didn't play a lot of, like if you go to the NFC West, we go to the Niners, we go San Diego, we would show up a bunch of fans.
Yep.
But when you're playing in division like Jets, Buffalo, Miami, Miami we'd have a lot of fans, but the Jets and Buffalo, it's pretty much
I always think like when we go on the road, and let's say it's 50-50. Let's just say for our argument's sake, I think that gives juice to the other team. Like you're in their building, and these people are paying to cheer for the team that you're going against. Yeah. Like athletes in our mind, we're all sicko, and we create like narratives to like, oh man, I'm going at them because you know this is disrespectful to me, right? So I think it like when you get everyone's best shot, when we travel and the Celtic fans are let's go Celtics, like I can see a little perk up from the other team.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not going to let this happen.
You know, in my like when we would go on the road, I would always see the crowd, and like you said, it just brought me into that when you said we have to manifest, like you have to make your own motivation.
For sure.
Sometimes I loved being the villain. I loved going into MetLife Stadium and fucking running down that field, and fucking trying to fire, and they're all booing. Like I embraced that.
Oh yeah,
you know, it got you up.
Oh yeah,
You know, so it's crazy what the little things you have to do in your head to get it going. Like if you're on the other team and you see 50% of the crowd's not your crowd at your home stadium, you're getting pissed. So they're putting that in their head.
Oh yeah.
How do you enjoy these Olympics?
You know, I watched just a little bit of it. Like I think people really did dive in. I watched all the basketball.
Yeah.
You know what was crazy? I got to admit, I've never seen, I was so shocked by, it's just going to sound crazy, doubles badminton. What the hell? They would hit the thing like 60, 70 times.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what? Like, why? What is this action? How come this is not always on? So somehow I got like sucked into doubles badminton, and I was like, these people are nasty at what they do, right? And then I won't watch badminton for 4 more years.
No. And everyone watching badminton thinks they can go out and play with these jokers.
Oh hell no!
This ain't the backyard.
My offensive coordinator at my JUCO, I went to junior college. He was like he was the badminton coach, or fucking he was like a pro or something. I said, I'll fucking go play you. I went and played this guy for 5 hours, didn't beat him once. I was like, I'm not going until I beat you. Those dudes.
That shuttlecock was flying, baby.
The shuttlecock was flying.
Wait, Scal, speaking of the Olympics, do you think we're going to get a fired up JB and JT this year after the snubs and the disrespect?
I don't know them like that, right? I don't know them like, are they highly motivated to destroy, the Warriors? I don't really know them like that, because I just know this is what I do know. When Jason Tatum does get like that, he's tough. Like,
I like that.
No one could stop him. But I don't know how that works. Like, is that motivating him to be like that every night? I have no idea. Is it motivating him to be the fact that everyone's jumping on the Anthony Edwards bandwagon when he's the one? Yeah, like Tatum deserves accolades, and he made sacrifices last year to move the ball, and now he didn't get the proper respect for winning a championship. So I don't know, but I'm curious to watch.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. As a full green teamer over here.
For sure.
We'll see. Man, I don't know how many more rap albums I can go through.
Yo, that song with A$AP Ferg goes hard, dude. We love Jaylen Brown for that one.
JB
Just do it on
rap
repeat.
albums coming out.
Hey, when you win the ship, you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Now you're an OG Big Three guy.
I am.
Yeah, I watched, and they're going to the Olympics they're going to
been in the
Olympics
Olympics, yep.
2025 or 21.
It was in this year too.
This year, but
Or 3-on-3 was.
how come they didn't let the Big Three guys in, right?
All right, so you have to. So FIBA, it's interesting in the sense they want the 3-on-3 to be like a cohesive unit. They don't like, how Team USA. You know that other guys qualify, and then Team USA comes in and goes to the Olympics, right? And you can qualify by winning the World Cup, and there's other things you can do. But in the 3-on-3, you got to do a process. So you have to, in the middle of a basketball season, you have to take 3 guys and go and play in a tournament. Like, guys can't leave their jobs in the middle. So it's not actually situated the way that the 5-on-5 is. So what happened, the thing that happened, which was bogus, because it's this whole, it feels a little bit like how college used to be. Now these kids be making money, and it's not the same way. But FIBA said that those guys could not come over and play the 3-on-3. Those guys could have made $150,000. So these guys are not high-level 5-on-5 pros that are making $1 million, $10 million, whatever they're making. These guys are grinding out on the 3-on-3 grind. And so Ice Cube offers them to come and play our 3-on-3 All-Stars, and they could have made some money. I mean, it's 4 guys, 100, it's $35,000 a pop. So those guys could have made some money, and FIBA just shut it down.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I think that's, first of all, if you're a pro athlete, you should, and these guys aren't making big money. You should have the right to make as much money as you possibly can. If people want to watch it, then let's make some money doing it. And I thought that was low down by FIBA, not allowing that group to come in and play the big three. By the way, the rules are really different. It would have been good. Like it's a way of bringing people together, and it's the institution. I thought, like, keeping people apart.
Yeah, trying to bring Ice Cube down.
Amen, brother.
We're just trying to get the league bigger.
Come on, man.
Cube will get on this podcast, and he'll go off on the FIBA.
I want to hear it.
You got any Cube stories?
I just got the Cube stories from all the big three stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't go to the parties afterwards, which I wish I would, but I don't. No, but like Ice Cube, the one thing I will say, like, he's the founder of the league, but it's not like he's just dropping money and doing other things.
Yeah.
Like, he's designing uniforms, he's making rules, he's like on every conference call. He's on me. Like, so I do everything there. I do sideline reporting, analyst work, play-by-play, right? And if I mess up, he's on me, like right away, text message, right? So, like, he's all over it, and this is his baby, right? He still raps, he still goes on tour, still does movies. But, like, this is like, I created this thing, and he's doing a really good job of building this thing up.
I mean, I don't have that. I made a Patriots hat, a Boston Patriots hat that I always resembled off of his Oakland Raiders hat that he used to wear.
Back in the day, like, matched up with the starter jacket. Yeah.
I loved
yeah.
you, man. I'm a Cali guy. You're a Cali guy, but you grew up.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the Bay.
Oh.
So in Redwood
that's right.
City.
I watched your doc.
Yeah.
I watched your doc. That's right.
So that's off of Ice Cube and the boys.
Yeah.
Shout out Cube.
Yeah, I grew up in the Bay. You were born in Long Beach, then you grew up in Washington State.
Yeah, I moved there when I was like 12.
12?
Yeah.
So are you a Cali kid or are you Washington?
Washington. Because I grew up high school and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I went back to USC,
Yeah.
I mean, LA's not really my vibe. I like going down to LA, but it's like, it's not my vibe.
Yeah.
I like when you came out here and the people were super rough, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it was, to me, it was like a match made in heaven. I was like, man, this is great. All these people, they just tell you how it is.
Exactly. That's what it is. I always explain that, when people ask me, like, are East Coast people or Boston people, they really like, I'm like, they're not mean. They're just very upfront and they're very honest. And
for sure.
They're not going to sit here and walk by and say hello.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got shit to do.
Yeah.
But that same person, if something were to happen to you on the street, that asshole that you think's an asshole would probably help you. And if you go to different cities,
100%.
the people that are nice to you would probably just keep on walking.
Yeah.
That's how I always explain the northeastern person.
Yeah.
They're just very straightforward. They're straight shooters. But they're actually nice ass people.
Yeah.
Like when shit's hitting the fan.
For sure. Like, I think when I can explain all this when I coached the Warriors 1 year in the Bay, or Seattle's like this, LA's a little like this. The best way to describe it is when you drive around, you're like, listen, I got to get over. You're there. I got some space. I'm going to squeeze in. It is what it is. A guy in here might just, come on, man. Like, just, what are you doing? Over there, it's on the horn. They speed up. They're super aggressive to you. But then you saw them later. They'd be like, hey, how you doing, man? I mean, it's a great day outside, right? It's like I just be who you are.
Just be you.
Don't be overly aggressive, passive aggressive in the car. And then when you see me to my face, you're just like super nice. Like, people here are like, and I'm not saying this is, obviously we're blanket statementing a lot of people, but like in general, like people here are just real. Like they're just real and upfront. And I do agree. Like if you meet people here, they are willing to help. Like when you are in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what was it like growing up in Washington?
It was the best place for me to grow up. I grew up in a small town about 40 miles outside of Seattle. Seattle's a really big hoop bed, and it all started a long time ago with Doug Christie, and then that got pushed to Michael Dickerson, and then Jason Terry, and then now Jamal Crawford. It's a really inclusive community when it comes to ball. Like there's other places where everyone like mad dogs each other and they're trying to fight for the top.
Yeah.
In Seattle, it's like, let's bring everybody along. So if you're like a young guy and you can go to pickup and you see like pros there, you just learn differently, right?
Yeah.
And so that environment really helped me because I didn't think I was a pro ever. Like I thought, not until like I was like a junior in college did I even think about being a professional athlete. I was just like,
why?
I mean, I don't know, like just small town white kid, like just not that athletic. No, I didn't know the nuances of the game. So I never saw myself like that until I started going to those pickup runs and seeing the way that those guys and getting a stop or maybe going up and finishing over a guy, right? It's like small things that could have happened. But those guys, if I'm not in that environment, like your trajectory changes when you're young.
Yeah.
If you don't see that, you just stay at a level, play with your friends, you are what you are. But until you get thrown in that fire and you have a little bit of success, like that changes your outcome, whatever. That could be 5 years from now, but it definitely changes the way you look at things.
Yeah. Now, the pickup run is such a big thing in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you always hear about these games. I don't know anything about it, but like you said, in your area in Washington, you guys were all inclusive with each other, and you guys wanted to help each other ball to make the area good. I heard you played pickup with the new Cooper kid,
Flagg.
Yeah.
Well,
how's he doing?
Well, now he's amazing, right? But so
What's
like at
that
the time, so I know a guy up in Maine and he trains Cooper, and he was like telling me these stories about this. At the time, 13-year-old playing against the UMaine guys, and he would struggle for like 12 minutes, and then for the last 30 minutes of the scrimmage, he would start to dominate. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here! No way a 13-year-old is better than D1 players. It's just that's not true. You can't tell me that you're building up your guy. So I go, all right, like bring him down. So I work with this team at the time, which now I've started my own AAU program, but at the time I worked with the Bay State Jaguars, and we had guys in there, and it's great. Like, let me kind of explain. At first, I was Scal, the guy on TV that played for the Celtics. Within about a month, like we're nose to nose with these kids, and we have a rule. Like we can push, but no punches ever. Yeah. Nobody can throw punches. You get a 2-month suspension. So we like to get, because what we're trying to do is take soft ass white kids and like build them up and get them like, when you're in this environment, you'll be able to survive. Uh-huh. And you ain't gonna be able to survive with us just being like, nice shot, Johnny. Like it's not gonna work, right? So we have this thing, like we go nose to nose, and I've gone with these guys for a while. So I told the guy from Maine, send him down. Like if he can live here, he'll be fine, right? So sends him down. Parents show up, great people, great people.
Drive.
Drove from Maine. Like it's 4.5.
He's 13.
No, with the parents, yeah. 4.5 hours, gets out of the car. I go, you need to warm up? He's like, he just like put on his 2 knee braces, right? I'm like, all right, man, let's go. So first possession, he goes to the right and he pump fakes. And let me give you a little bit of a background here. Like I brought in some other kids, and they were not about that. And the guys who I played against were killing me about bringing in these other kids, right? So then for me, I'm always talking shit. So I'm like, yo, I got somebody for you today, man. This guy's going to come and whoop your ass, right? 14 years old. And they're like, man, no way. And I go, it's kid Cooper Flagg. And they're like, I heard of him. But nah, man, no one can come in here and on day one survive in this environment. When we got the music cranking, we play games where you can only have the ball in your hand for 2 seconds. You have the shot clock in 8 seconds. So we're doing all these things to mess people up. All right. So he comes down, he dribbles right. He pump fakes. He throws it up off the backboard. He goes up with the left, and he dunks it, right? The gym was silent. Like you could hear a pin drop in the gym. And I'm like, ooh, I got some motherfuckers for you now, right? So I give him a chest bump, and then we just start going. It was one of our best days, but he survived. Guys in the gym were 17, 18, 19. There's countless D1 players there. Like he held his own more than. And then when we sped the game up, he just like the game just slowed down for him. So I told to the parents, I'm like, this kid's a pro. Like I don't know what type of pro. There's levels of pro. You could be a Hall of Famer, an all-star, a starter, a bench player, a guy like me, right? And you could be a guy that's like 10-day contract. All of them are pros, but like what level are you going to be? And it depends on what you do. So I call USA Basketball the next day. I call Duke the next day. I'm telling you guys, man, this guy's nasty. They blew me off. Kid from Maine, he's all right. Look, we'll bring him in for you, whatever. And he just took off from there. Wow. And the key is, he's gifted. He's super gifted. He's a basketball prodigy, but he's not afraid, man. He's nasty. Like, he's not afraid to walk into places and go at people nose to nose. And you saw it when he was scrimmaging USA basketball. You saw him like with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, like all those guys. He was going at them.
Man,
you know?
The Great White Hope.
I mean, that's what everyone. That's what everyone thinks.
Is he the next Bird?
Hey, just signed with New Balance, baby.
Yeah,
Did he?
Yeah, he
just
loves
signed with
Larry
New
too.
Balance.
Man.
He's a big Larry Bird fan. Larry Bird fan.
That's a great
That's
guy
his
to-
goat.
That's our kind of guy.
I mean,
But he's nasty like that.
Is he?
He's like tough, like Larry Bird was tough.
Is he quiet on the court? Does he talk shit?
Talk shit, but
he
not.
talks shit with his ball. That's
He
like,
talks shit.
He talks shit like after like something.
No, he's always talking.
He's always talking.
Yeah, I mean, he's always chirping.
Yeah.
You know, and he got that fire. Like, you know, when we went in there, I went up to Maine. I think it was 2 years ago now, and we scrimmaged, and we got him the first day. You could tell he walked in, he wasn't talking to nobody. He was coming in, he tied his shoes, he's ready. He was not laughing, he was not joking, and he murdered us. Yeah. So we'll see. He'll be 1 year at Duke. Good chance he'll be a number 1 pick, if not a top 3 pick. And then, you know, then there's that. Then the league is a different animal, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's so many different levels of players in the NBA. And you know, we'll see what he becomes. But he's a worker. He's tough. He's gifted. You know, he's got a great environment, great family. I hope him that he, like, whatever he could become, I feel like he'll maximize his potential.
That'll be, you know, it's going to be so fun to watch because I always like watching the guys that are these hype guys. Like, he's got hype.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about him. He's not even, you know, in college yet.
Yeah.
So like these hype guys, and it just makes you, it brings you a little attention to that area, you know. You're like, oh, I want to see what this guy does. Is he going to live up to it, or is he going to believe it?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Maine
hoops, baby.
Like, there's like, you can't name 4 NBA players from Maine. You can't name one really outside of Cooper. Like there's just, it's just not an environment for that. It's just not. It's just,
that makes it more impressive.
It's beyond. It's prodigy, and he's super gifted. He has a twin brother who was always like 40, 50 pounds heavier than him growing up and beat the shit out of him, right? And then he never backed down. He never cried to mom. He just kept going at him.
Is the twin just as big?
No, his brother now is smaller.
Oh, I was about to say, geez.
His brother played for me on my team, White Mamba. He was good. He's a good player. Like, I think he'll go to UMaine. You know, it's just like, but his, you know, like, you grow up getting your ass whooped like by your twin brother. Like, you just never think that you're good enough.
No,
even if you're gifted, you're just always going at your brother who's big, and it's like hard to beat those guys.
You can't.
No.
We got to talk about, you said White Mamba, the one-on-ones.
Oh.
When you
The Scalabrine, baby.
Well, it was kind of like the movie
It's legendary.
Hustle. We were talking
Yes.
about it. You know that he had to get some fucking mojo, so he went on and started beating the shit out of people. How was that?
So I was. Are you familiar? Toucher and Rich.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sports Hub. So I was on the Sports Hub, and they were asking me, like, listen, when I got done playing basketball, like, I'm a hoop head. I still play now, even though, like, I know, like, football players, you guys see it differently. Like, you guys are fucking done when you're done, right? Like,
there ain't no
football. So I still play. Like, I play against these high school kids. Like, I just play all the time. But at the time when I just got out, I was playing like you can't believe. Like, I would do the Celtic games, and I think like a sneaky side of me did the Celtic job just so I can go to different cities and find pickup to play in. Like, that's how I was
That's awesome.
I'm a pickup savage, right? But I was 33 at the time. So I'm playing all these pickup games, and I had this rec league. And the night before, I had it going. I had 65 points. So someone gets on the chat and was just they just started frying me in the chat. So I'm like, y'all really think? Like, I don't think that. Like, I don't think I could tackle you. I don't think I can hit a fucking baseball. Like, I don't think I can hit a golf ball. Like, I don't think I could do. I don't think I can play badminton. You know, I don't think like that.
Yeah.
I think I can hoop, right? And I don't even think I'm that good of a one-on-one player, but I'm better than like average Joes. So I was just, you know what? I'll play anybody anytime. Just like send in your videos. We'll pick the best players and we'll go. I'll play 5 of you guys in a row. It wouldn't matter to me. And so I just went in there, and once, like, the way it works, once I see something once or twice, I'm like, all right, I know what you are. You're a right-handed pull-up. You're a left-handed to the cup. You like to step back. You know, like, I can if I see someone live twice, like two possessions, I know exactly what you are, right? I've seen it on the highest level. And by the way, besides like Kobe Bryant, most guys in the NBA do like 2 to 7 things max to get open and get a shot off. So I've seen that same move, but it was Paul Pierce doing it, and now it's you. So I can stop you. I might not be able to stop Paul Pierce, but I can stop you. So I challenged 5 guys. I played them. I won like 55 to 8 combined. But that gap is closing at 46.
Still got it. Still got it, baby.
I played this dude called the Hezi God. Like, he's a YouTuber, and he whooped my ass. Like, he whooped my ass. He's built like you, like small, right, and strong. And he just, he was doing shit that I've never even seen before, right? So
these fucking, what? Isn't it crazy?
It is crazy
how sport in general and all sports, it's getting to like you watch some of these football kids. I watch them on YouTube, whatever. And you see the skill level that they have.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Or I'll get into like a wormhole of watching hoopers.
Oh, yeah.
These like little kids.
Yeah.
Like how they got their handles. And it's just the information age has helped athlete world so much.
I totally agree.
Because I used to like hear folklore of how Jerry Rice trained.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how he did it.
And you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But you would hear and you would go to do it. Now you can go on Instagram and see what your fucking favorite athletes do and see everything.
Correct.
And just be a little gym rat and go do it and become great at it.
Yeah. I like, my son loves Steph Curry, but my son is not Steph Curry. But I think the best, like, this is crazy, right? I think the best offensive player in the NBA, like a guy that every kid should watch and every kid should emulate, I don't care if you're fucking 6'10" or you're 5'10", is Trae Young. Trae Young, his footwork is perfect. His handle is perfect. His efficiency is perfect. Like, I get it. He's not he doesn't make shots, but everything he does is perfect.
Yeah.
So when I go to my son, I'm like, listen, you shouldn't watch Steph Curry. Like, that's otherworldly. Like, that's what he does is like, you can't even teach that. But what you really should do is watch this guy. So like he's just glued to it. Trae Young, Trae Young, Trae Young, Trae Young. And so it's like that's amazing how on Apple TV and YouTube, he can watch hours of Trae Young, just all day long, Trae Young. Like we used to have the videotape put in the thing and watch highlights. And it wasn't like learning highlights. It was just dunks and threes and whatever, right? So no, the information age in sports, and let's not even, I was on Instagram this morning and I saw a guy, you know how like you have a feed of people you follow, but sometimes they throw somebody in there?
Mm-hmm. Algorithm.
I saw this dude in Minnesota training people. I'm like, I can't do that, but I need a guy that could do that to work with my team, right? And I need that right there. And I'll send him that and I'll say, take this guy, study the hell out of him, and I want you to do this with my kids.
Yeah. I see. There's one guy up in New York. I see trains all these guys. I think Brady even went to him.
Brickley?
Yeah.
Chris Brickley? Yeah.
I am like, I watch some of the guys, these drills. They're so fascinating and they're so awesome to watch the things they come up with and then see it translate. Oh, they actually do that in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you go from, we always used to say, you go from the classroom to the drill to the 7-on-7 to the team period. No one sees those drills, the things that you do in order to execute at, in the team periods, So it's kind of similar watching these guys. They'll cut up like one little thing and they'll do it 1,000,000 times and then they perfect it. And then it's just,
Has that changed in football?
What?
Here's the big thing. So in basketball, it's the dribble to the gather. Like you could spin that ball or hold that ball out as long as you possibly can, as long as you don't put your hand underneath the ball or put 2 hands on the ball. And you can take 1,000 steps if you want, right? Yeah. So the whole gather series, like the float and gather is like kind of like James Harden, right? He puts the ball, he floats it, and he goes, and then he shoots it, right? So he's like, it's okay if your hand's on top of the ball. So that's been a big change. Like not many players, there were some, but not many back in the day did it. So now like, when you talk about little kids, like kids that can't even play, float the ball, high gather, low gather, power gather, right? Has there been a thing in football where you watch and say, man, there was nobody doing that, and now everybody's doing it?
For me, I think football, it's for the receiver position. I think it's their release game. The releases at the line of scrimmage.
Got it.
These guys, they have such a big tool belt now. and they can practice. Like my releases, I would release and instinctively just go. They use it as like a weapon now, where they have a counter, they have a double, they have a speed, they have you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I think they're just, everyone's a technician now.
Gotcha.
Everyone's a technician now, and these big ass receivers, everyone can get in and out of breaks. Like you watch a guy like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. Those guys used to be guys that just went down the sideline. You know, Jamar Chase is 210, 15 pounds, 6'1", a tall 6'1", and he can get in and out of breaks like a little guy. Yeah. You know, that's the stuff you're starting to see here, you know, in the league. And then also the rule changes have allowed guys to, you know, play across the middle. You know, it kind of happened in the middle of my career where you couldn't hit the guys like they used to.
In the head, right?
In the head, or just in general. Yeah. You know, guys, we started farming this in the young kids' sports. You know, you start seeing it in Pop Warner, where these guys are starting to see, like, your favorite guy that used to be a headhunter or a big hitter, he ain't even playing because he's suspended. So, and then the guy who's making the picks is getting paid hella money. So now DBs, they don't even go for the big hit as much. They go for an interception because you get paid if you get interceptions. Gotcha. So the whole game has changed. It's become a space game, very similar to basketball.
For sure.
You know how
more space is better.
It's spaced now.
Can I? I've always wanted to ask you this, and this is for all guys going over the middle. When you're going over the middle, is that a feel that you know that there's a guy there or not there?
So you know pre-snap what's going to be, you know, the coverage. So I kind of know where guys are supposed to be from the look before the snap. Now there's a lot of variables when that happens, but you know, if the quarterback comes late to you across the middle and you're on a 20-yard in, and you're starting to get past those numbers, that's usually when you hit that middle field safety. So I can anticipate if I'm going to get my clock cleaned.
So it's a gut, or you actually, when the ball's in the air, because it's so slow for you, you can say, damn, I'm about to get hit.
Well, I can know by the time when the quarterback threw me the ball, where the quarterback threw me the ball, that, you know, if the defense is where they're supposed to be, I could be getting hit.
So you're preparing for that.
You're not. Yeah, you're prepared for it, but you know going into it.
Yeah.
You know if you're gonna take one or not.
Yeah.
You know. So,
and you know when you're not.
Yeah, you know when you're not.
You know when you're not. You know when you're going. You're like, I'm gonna have a little bit of room here.
Yeah. So a lot of it, you know, when you see a lot of those big hits, sometimes it's receivers running through zones. You know what I mean? Because man coverage, you're not really going to get a hit unless there's a guy in the middle of the field who has no responsibility that's reading the quarterback's eyes, or you're deep and you hit that middle field safety. So if man coverage, you beat your guy, you're good. But you always see these big hits because it's a young receiver running like a bat out of hell through the zone.
Yeah.
And a guy's waiting for you.
Yeah.
So you can kind of anticipate when you get older, you know where the soft spots of the zones are. And if you have a good rapport with the quarterback, he knows that as well.
Gotcha.
So, you know, you're his eyes out on the field. Like a lot of times I'd be Tom's eyes. He'd trust where I was going. And then, you know, he would throw me to where he wanted me to run. You know, so if he put it on this shoulder, he's saying, hey, there's a guy over here. Let's go this way.
I see.
So that's where the nuances come.
Yeah.
You know?
And when you watch that, you pick it up right away. Like you're watching, ooh, young receiver.
Oh, 100%.
Or, ooh, quarterback. Didn't do him any favors there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can see when a guy gets blown up, you know, why he got blown up.
So think about like what I do with the Celtics, right? Like I love basketball, but it's really hard to explain like the nuances of what the game is and then try to make it so people can understand it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny how there's a misconception about every time I meet a football player, the misconception is like dumb football player.
Yeah.
You guys are like the smartest people, every single one of you guys. And the layers of what I'm like, when you were on layer 3, 4, 5, like, in the NBA, we stop at 2.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's just because when you play 16, 17 games and you have a whole week to prepare for one game, just imagine like what you said when you're going into playoffs.
Yeah.
You guys got that book.
Yeah.
That's like that every week because you can't slip up and have a 3-game skid in the NFL. Your season's over.
For sure.
So you have to prepare for everything to put yourself in the position to go out and perform 3 hours on a Sunday, the best of your possibility. Yeah. And then you have to dump it and go to the next week.
Crazy.
You know, that's football.
How when you go to the playoffs, is it?
Oh, it's even more.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's the speeds are always like this. You know, you come in March, and you got organized team activities, and you start working out for like 6 weeks with the team. You work out, you're working on your speed, and then you guys start doing a little, OTA where you're installing the offense, and it's like a little faster because now you have a guy across from you, but there's no pads. That's like faster. Then you get to training camp, and it's like a lot faster.
Hit.
Well, not hitting, but just the speed and when you're feeling another guy on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when the ball's coming and all of a sudden, you're not getting hit, but the ball, if you would have got hit. So there's things flying around. Then you get to regular season when, you're not going against a guy who's not going to make the team, and it gets that much faster. And then you get to the playoffs every week there's no business decisions anymore. Guys are going like bat out of hell trying to kill you. So it's crazy, but it's that's why we like playing the game.
For sure.
We'll be right back after this quick break.
Hey, it's Rob Gronkowski here, and I'm with my bro, or my dude, Jules.
And we are super excited to tell you about our new show, Dudes on Dudes.
We're just regular dudes as well. Sometimes we can't read, sometimes we can't speak properly, but that's what dudes do. But Dudes on Dudes, seriously, who named this? Anyways, we're spilling all the behind-scenes stories, crazy details, and honestly, just having a blast talking football.
Every week, we're discussing our favorite players of all times, from legends to our buddies to current stars.
And the best part, we're finally answering the age-old question. What kind of dudes are these dudes?
Is Travis Kelce a stud or a freak? Is Tom Brady a dog or a dude's dude? We're going to find out. Every episode drops every Thursday during the NFL season.
Those are some good questions right there, Julian. We're going to find out soon. And watch us on YouTube. Listen wherever you listen to podcasts. And of course, follow us all over social media.
So hit that subscribe button, follow us everywhere, and join the dude party.
You don't want to miss this.
Dudes on Dudes. Let's go.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Now, this is a segment where we go back in time around the game. This was around May 14th, 2004. Good year. And we go over pop culture. The number one movie was Troy. Brad Pitt. You see that?
Yeah, good movie.
That was a good
little
movie.
bit about the Trojan horse. I went to USC.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, fight on, baby.
Fight on.
Or we're in the Big Ten now.
That's so weird to say.
I don't know what
That's so weird to say.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the quarterback makes $8 million.
Yeah,
whatever. That's what in 30 years they're gonna go back. This quarterback was making $8 million in college.
What a loser! He's making 40 now.
Bum. God.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Number one song was "Yeah" by Usher. I think we all
Classic.
This was my high school.
Oh my gosh.
I was in high school here. I think that was like our prom song.
Usher got you a few assists in high school.
Oh,
no doubt.
a bunch of assists. And also a couple heartbreaks. You got it bad, bro. You got it bad.
Oh, you got it bad? No way you were crying after that. No way, man.
No.
You're shedding a real tear? No way.
Hey, man.
No way. No way you turn into this, shedding a tear.
Hey. We're not just dumb football players. We're sensitive guys.
Ain't no way. You're probably like, all right. Like it's like you did. Well, you know what? It's a cover 2 now. It's a cover 3. I go to the nickel package. You had a backup plan. I know it.
Just find the soft spot in the zone.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Kyler. What was it 2004 Scal like right now? Down this time.
Oh my gosh.
2004.
So I went to school 5 years. So let's see, I'm 20. Oh my gosh. 24, 23, 24, 25. So the game is just starting to slow down for me, right? Like there's a point when you talk about the speed of the game, like when I first got into the NBA in some bullshit preseason game, I felt like I was in the middle of a highway and it was going a million miles an hour. I finally like kind of like started to carve out like who I am, what I am. This is what I do. Trust my work and all that stuff. So just at that point started to slow down. And, I also recognize that I'm never going to be at this. I'm really happy doing this. Let me master my role and let me see how far I can go with this particular role. And I thought that was good.
That gets a lot of guys right there.
A lot of guys.
Guys don't manage their expectations.
Yeah.
And it takes them out of the overall big picture of why you just want to be on a team.
Yeah.
So some guys, I've seen it, a guy thinks he should be here and he's worrying about, what the coach is doing. He's worrying about this when, if you just sit back and worry about what you have to do, that's when the great things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
It's
I can fully.
We had Jason Kidd on our team, right? And
Bay boy.
And
that's right, baby.
Alameda.
Just think about this. Like, I had a really fast. I played in junior college as well. I had a really fast team in junior college. I got really good at taking the ball out of bounds. Right, some simple thing like ball goes through the net. Like whether it be like a quarterback in their drops, I could 1-2 and step on the line. And as I step, I can release the ball. Right, so some meaningless nothing. Right, that I got a lot of practice on to be played fast. Well, all of a sudden I get drafted and Jason Kidd's on my team. That shit matters. Yeah. And if I take the ball out and it goes to Kenyon Martin for an alley-oop, like my coaches are going to realize that it's a way of putting it like this. Let's say I was going to play 4.5 minutes. Let's say I take the ball out, I get it to Kidd, and Kidd throws it to Martin. That might buy me 30 seconds. Let's say in that 30 seconds, I grab a rebound and I knock down a three. I just bought myself 3 more minutes, right? So I lived that was the year when I realized that I'm buying my time. Like I'm bidding on my minutes by my play. And if I didn't play well, then I probably wouldn't go back in the second half. But the point is, play well enough to get a second half opportunity.
See, that's the difference between basketball and football. Like I was in that same situation, but that was during practice.
Really?
Yeah, that's how you earned your opportunity. Because on game day, you're only dressing 46 out of 53. And if you don't do it in practice, if you don't take advantage of those opportunities, those inbounds or whatever in practice, and they didn't see you do it, they weren't putting you out on that fucking field.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So wait a minute. How many possessions offensively in a football game, typically?
There's usually about 60 plays.
Okay. Going into that, do they know?
Probably like 11 on a high, what is it, like 7 to 11 possessions.
Per
side.
So do you know how many you're getting? Like going in, you're like, I'm going to get
you can anticipate 40 what 40
plays.
You could have a package. So if you're not if you're not a guy, like how I started, there was a 4 wide package where on third downs, you'd have Randy, Wes, Joey Galloway. They'd take the tight end out and they'd put me in, call 4 wide. So there may be 5 plays with that package that they could only use on third down.
That was it.
That was it.
So you're on the sideline
all game.
And you're rooting for third down.
I'm rooting for.
I hope Tom throws this shit in the ground so I can get in there for that 5 wide package. Say it. Admit it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You're like, yo, I could really use a third down right now.
You know how many times I saw Welker he'd get light. This is how tough he was. I saw him, like, his helmet came off. I'm over here strapping. I'm going in. Hell yeah. The motherfucker can get back up. I'm like, fuck that. No. How tough is he?
Yo, we are certifiedly tapped. We are tapped. Like, that's just, like, I'm telling you. When Kenyon Martin would punch somebody, I'd be like, sweet. Yeah. I'm about to play.
Yeah. That's how it was. That's how it was. But it's crazy. Like, you guys are learning your team as the season goes, each and every game.
Oh, yeah, it changes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
82.
Changing. So, we have to learn our team a lot through the practice.
Okay.
And then in the games as well, but you have to go out and do everything you can to win those.
Yeah.
It's just I heard you talking about that. It was crazy.
Yeah. There's dirt. He needs third and long.
Yeah. Fucking 4 wide.
Let's get behind the chains, baby.
Yeah.
You can see. Yeah, I bet you can watch you on the sideline. Like, you get a first down, a second and 8. You get a first down, you probably, fuck.
Or, punt return.
Whatever.
In football, there's a whole different, if we punt, I could be out there.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there cheerleading.
That's
The more you can do.
That's
the more
great,
you can
man.
do.
You got it's a weird mindset. You got to be like, you got to want to win. You got to want the best for your team and all that, but you got to be hungry to get that in there, or else when you go in there, you won't do well.
Yeah. And you got to take advantage of the opportunity, because I remember, early on, I would struggle because I was used to being in the game as a quarterback in college, every fucking play touching the ball. So your focuses are, you're in the game. You could feel the momentum and the swings of the game. When I first got in the league, I'm playing like 8 offensive plays. Like, you fuck up one, you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
It's over.
It's fucking life or death. And then you may not have been on the field for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
So then you got to go, that's like a bench player.
I know. It's tough.
In 2003, 2004, in the sports world, the Pistons, they won that championship.
ended up
We'll
winning
get
it.
into this right here soon.
Foreshadowing.
KG was the MVP of the NBA. Stanley Cup winners were the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow.
They done it a few times now.
Yeah, they're great. They just went
What's
back to back.
do
You
they
guys were
like
good back then,
do they
though.
like hockey in Florida?
When they win, they do.
It's got to be about free
Big
agents
wagon.
going down there and not paying
No taxes.
state taxes.
Yeah. Gotta be.
Particularly with Canada has extra taxes too, so
Yeah.
there's another advantage.
LeBron James, he was drafted. I was at Kent when he was over there.
Yeah.
In what is it, 6? Because I went to Kent State in Ohio, and he grew up in Akron, which is like right there. So like I felt that whole like aura of LeBron and that whole thing. It was crazy. I went and bought his shoes.
He's awesome. I mean, like
It's
the
incredible.
longevity.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's
Can't
still
say, He exceeded expectations. He's a great guy, like great businessman. Like, I don't know. He's like, it's very rare to exceed hype, because hype is hype.
hype is hype.
Yeah, it's like, but he exceeded it, and he still does. He's still exceeding hype.
Yeah.
And not even just on the court, but like in life too.
It's
Everything.
real-
He elevates everything.
yeah. It's amazing.
Barry Bonds set the record for being intentionally walked 4 times in one game.
Ooh.
Did you watch baseball?
I think I watched back in the day. That was when he was cranking home runs.
Cranking.
And had a massive head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New era, making that custom
Lance
size
Armstrong,
8.5.
speaking of, getting it
Lance
done.
Armstrong.
I was a big Lance Armstrong fan too.
Me too, bro.
Still am, dude.
Still
I don't
am.
care. I don't care what he did. He
Facts.
won, man.
Facts.
I'm desperately trying to do a Tour de France stage as an episode here, but it's not getting buy-in from the team.
What do you mean? I love Lance.
I like the Tour de French.
Shout out Teddy Pagacha.
Yeah.
Get out. And then surfer Bethany Hamilton lost her arm to a shark attack.
Soul surfer.
You
We
like
talked
water?
about a little bit. We just interviewed Laird Hamilton. You know who that is?
Yeah, like the fitness guy.
No, the fucking big wave surf guy.
Oh, yeah, fitness guy too.
yeah.
He's into
Oh,
all
but
that.
he's
He got
fit.
his
Yeah,
coffee
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah. His coffee's
Yeah.
great.
The
Yeah.
surfer mentality, man.
Yeah.
It's just those guys they're crazy.
I know. They
Hyper
are.
competitive, but not against anyone else.
Yeah, they're not. They're
weird.
hyper competitive,
Yeah.
but like against the climate.
Yeah, I know.
He invited Jules up to his spot in Malibu to do some Jalen Brown underwater weightlifting.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
works with Jalen Brown.
I don't know. I just saw
Oh,
JB
but
doing
yeah.
it. Yeah, you know that stuff.
I saw that
Yeah.
stuff like handstands,
Yeah.
to jumps.
He does that.
Yeah.
He wants Jules to
Honestly,
come do it with him.
that I was looking at all this stuff. Like I wish I would have done that because it's not. There's no impact
No.
on your legs, and you could still work on explosion and
Yeah.
keep that nervous system popping.
So I don't know if it's plays in football, but basketball, a lot of guys don't know how to breathe, and I think that
Yes.
one part of
Ooh.
that is learning how to control. Like so if you're doing handstands and to this and that, you obviously you can't breathe when you're underwater. So controlling your breath over the course of 82, 103 offensive possessions in a game, you have to be able to like learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
All those moments and stuff like that. I work with so many kids. You'd be surprised how many hold their breath when they do things.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, like you have to teach yourself how to breathe because it's the long game. It's a really long game here. And if you're not, when the ball goes out of bounds, if you're not taking 2 or 3 deep breaths, when there's a free throw, you're not catching your breath, you're not doing any of that, eventually your body just wears out.
Out, and then in the fourth quarter, you're gonna get took.
You're toast, yeah. I'm a big Jalen Brown fan. Like I loved his approach. He always believed that he was going to be great,
Yeah.
and he always wasn't just talk. Like he worked, and so like if I that's all I care about when it comes to my athletes that I like and look up to. Are you a worker? Are you doing what you're like? You might have a good game, a bad game. You might do this and that on the court, off the court. But like, if you have a consistency with your work, I look at that and say like, that's something that you should follow.
Yeah, this is a job.
Yeah, for sure.
We were getting paid a lot of money to do something we love.
Yeah.
Why not do the most you can?
For sure. And out here, I do feel like it's different. Sports are different. Like there is a sense that you have to. It's okay. There's two things. There's the fans that go in the current climate of the sports in the New England area, and there's also like the people of the past who have done it before, and you have to live up to that legacy. So there's two things going on. So it takes yourself like a little bit out of the equation. I really felt this year, and I think Coach Joe Mazzulla did a really good job of it. Is he made it about like the Celtic legacy, the Celtic fan, and the New England area. And when you start playing for things more than yourself and you work for things more than yourself, then I think you get further than just working for yourself.
Yeah, that's very well said. That's very well said. I mean, when I got here, I just hated fucking hearing Belichick talk about the other 3 Super Bowls they won before we won. So I was like, fuck that.
How often? Like daily? On the daily?
He would just... It wouldn't be daily, but he'd always show an example, of like if there's a tackle, a TG pool play, and we didn't, blow it up the right way. He'd bring you think Brewski did it like that? And he'd throw, you know what I mean? And there is that standard and there's that legacy, especially in this city,
for sure.
In this area that you have to live up to,
for sure. For sure.
All right, Jackie, let's set the stage.
All right.
We want to get into these Pistons? It's game time, baby.
All right.
This was a Pistons team that went 54-28. First year of the Larry Brown era up there in Detroit.
Larry
Brown. Got swept by the Nets in the previous playoffs the year before. And they had the second overall pick this year. Darko, baby.
Would you say that it was the Wallace trade?
Yeah, the Rasheed Wallace was the difference maker. Yeah.
Turned them around. Started the year 33-16, struggled a little bit in February, but then got new life when Rasheed came on over. Won 16-19 after that trade. Tough defense, like those bad boys teams always got. This is an all-time tough guy team too, I feel like.
Yeah, when they hit their stride, it was the best defensive team I've ever played against.
Man,
but it was like they had everything you can want in a defensive team, and they were smart, they were physical, like they had guys coming off the bench. So going like at time when they got Rasheed Wallace, it took a little bit of time, but once they hit their stride, I think they had a stretch of games where they didn't give up more than 80 points. It was like 17 games in a row or some crazy number, and we were 2 of those games. So these guys were so good, and things that they did were really difficult to go against.
No, I mean this is a team of like we were watching the tape back like. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. Like, this is a classic Pistons era team.
I mean, this is classic. They won a championship. This was a crazy era. And then, could you see Larry Brown evolve this team in the year that you saw that as well?
Yeah, because Larry Brown's like a teacher, and he loves defense, and it was like perfect. And you could tell the players love Larry Brown. And so when you have a hard-ass coach and the players like run through a wall for him, that's a dangerous thing to go against because there's like a lot of hard asses where the players can check that shit out, right? But these guys, for whatever reason, they love Larry Brown. And so it was, and he's a good coach. He's a tough coach, and he loves to teach. I did all the pre-draft workouts. I went 27 pre-draft workouts. I did some twice. I learned more about basketball in that Larry Brown pre-draft workout. It wasn't like he was working us out to evaluate our talent. He just can't help himself. Like, he wants to teach the game. Yeah. And that was when it was in 2001, and he was with Philly at the time.
Yeah, with Iverson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think Larry Brown's been coaching since 1960 something, like 65,
crazy.
And was coaching Memphis with Penny up until a couple years ago. Lifer, man.
Lifer.
That's one of those coaches for life.
And speaking of coaches, this team had 2 future head coaches, Darvin Ham with the Lakers and Hubert Davis with UNC. So some More names on this team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smart dudes.
So we were talking. You said Rasheed Wallace was like he was the final piece that made it go.
It's like I could be wrong. Tell me if I am, but middle linebacker of you guys, right? Like in the middle linebacker kind of sets the tone. Like he has to call the plays and he says formation. He says this is what's going on. Like Rasheed Wallace has got a great mouthpiece. Like if he's back in the back line, he knows everything that's going on and he's talking about it. He ain't just quiet or anything like that. He's cerebral. He's smart. He stays ahead of the game. And so if you were going to run a sideline pick and roll, he'll be like, sideline pick and roll, watch pin down weak side. So think about you're a guard. You're facing that way. I'm Rasheed Wallace. I'm telling you, like, hey, sideline pick and roll. Jules, it's going to be a pin down. Just stay on his hip. And the play would happen and he would do it like that. And that would be every single play. And then when a play did break down, he's gifted enough to get up there, block a shot, get a rebound. So it's just him defensively, it's a difference maker. Ben Wallace is really good.
Oh, yeah.
But Ben Wallace is more like he's raw and he's good. He can block a shot and a rebound. He's tough. Rasheed Wallace is like, and Garnett's a little bit like this. He's like, they're spitting out the coverages and they're spitting out what's happening before it happens. And when you go against guys like that, you just got to be good. Like you're not going to get open. You're not going to get tricked. You just got to be nasty. Right? You got to be able to make a play when things like, go to shit.
Yeah.
I mean, playing in a locker room, Scal, like I know it's years later, but with KG and Rasheed Wallace, like how the heck was that?
So Rasheed Wallace that year was phenomenal, like offensively, and he could carry a team early on. He was coming off the bench, but you got the true sense of it in the playoffs.
Right.
When the playoffs rolled around, I was like, whoa, these two guys are on a different level, right? And that was a year that we kind of sucked from Christmas Day to the end of the season. And then those two guys just just owned the defense. And Kendrick Perkins was back there too. He was really good defensively. So they're the reasons why we kind of coasted all the way to the finals. And then Perk got hurt and we ended up not winning in 2010. But those guys, and Garnett's an everyday guy, but Rasheed Wallace and the levels that he went to is a big reason why, and the levels that group went to is the reason why we got back to the finals.
I still think if Perk didn't get hurt, we're winning that thing.
Yeah. I mean, Lakers deserved it. Like they came out, they rebounded the ball, they did what they needed to do. But no, it was that was a great series. That was
all timer.
I went to that series. That was when I first got here.
Damn.
It was interesting to see. I think one guy in particular, Pau Gasol, right? Like in 2008, he just wasn't ready for it, right? And you could tell, like, I don't know if he was intimidated by Garnett. He just wasn't ready. But the Pau Gasol that he won a championship the next year and then he's coming back to play us, that was a completely different guy.
Yeah.
And like at the time, I could be pissed about it, but you got to show respect. When a guy gets destroyed and comes back and avenges his demons, I got nothing but love for that, man. Even though it cost us a championship and whatever it was, but like respect to him, man. Like that's not an easy thing to do. When you get your ass whooped by a guy, like it's not easy to come back and like eventually avenge what happened. It's not easy.
No, a lot of people most people just walk away.
Or they just can't. Or they just like you always gonna have their number.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, in this game, before Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups, and all that stuff, Jason Kidd owned him. And when they got Rasheed Wallace, the tide shifted a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. You can look at, we swept them. You can just watch that matchup. Kidd owned that matchup. But from this point on, and I want to say like in particular, it felt like this year and this game, like from that point on, like Billups like did his thing against Kidd. But before that, it was like a drastic difference between the two.
Kidd was getting up in age too.
Yeah, he had the
the
knee.
Yeah, he wasn't a young kid.
No.
We were playing him, 10 years earlier and fucking Hoop It Up and shit, or what was the one NBA Jams and shit when he was with the Phoenix. I played Hoop It Up one year in Oakland.
You like it?
Yeah, we went to the finals and got
What's your hoop game like?
Football player playing hoop.
Gotcha.
Aggressive.
Gotcha.
All right, Jackie, break down these Nets.
Yeah, these Nets, another awesome defensive team, 47-35. Jay Kidd, of course, signed the extension before the season. Also had Alonzo Mourning, but had to hang it up shortly into the season with the kidney condition. But he stayed on the bench all year, right?
Ooh, I'm not sure if he was there at the end.
Okay, because I feel like he was feel like he was in street clothes on the bench for this one, but
Maybe he
I gotta
was.
triple check.
Maybe he was.
But more resilient this team with changing head coaches after 42 games. Byron Scott got fired, and they brought in Lawrence Frank.
I like Byron. I like Lawrence, but I was like, it was our third year together, 2 finals, and now like they were starting to see some cracks in the armor, right? Whatever it was, we were just a 500 team, and whatever the reason, you can see 22 and 20, and they decided to make a coaching change.
Now, I've never been around a coaching change, let alone in the NBA. When a coach comes in the middle of a fucking season,
He was the assistant coach.
Oh, so is he just running the same shit you guys are running, or
Yeah, a little
emphasizing
like just a little bit more counters. Lawrence is really prepared. He was really prepared. He kind of took over, and like if this just our scouts were longer, everything was like that, right? And I think I like the simplicity in which Byron Scott coached at. Like he really wanted to get the ball to the kid and run. Really wanted to run the offense simply and just like make plays. Like I like that. I like that a lot. We started 14-0, right? But after that, we were just 500. So we just had a really good we really perked up. 14-0 is hard to do.
Yeah,
really
especially
hard.
You get a new coach. It's hard to do. And so, but we were battle tested. Like Richard Jefferson was coming to his own. Kenyon Martin was awesome. I think really what this came down to, and the reason why we lost, I think a lot of it had to do with this game. And we went to triple overtime, and kid's knee, it just couldn't recover after game 5. Like he just wasn't the same guy in 6, and he really wasn't the same guy in 7.
that dude? You got knee problems on that hard court?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Because you got to play both ends.
Not even, but just the impact.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean?
You can't you can't go to the sideline when the defense is on the field and like get it right.
Yeah.
Or activate some muscles. Like you're just in the game.
You're in.
Yeah.
Now, can you, for our Gen Z listeners, can you sum up how this net team was? What was their like comp now? Who's their team comp now? Because you guys went to the finals last year.
Yeah, we went to well, like early on, we were a fast breaking team. Like, so you could say we were like the Phoenix Suns back in the day, right? But we were a good defensive team. That kind of like stuck. Like we were really versatile and switchable. So that's good in the league. So you don't have to be in rotation. And then offensively, we just get the ball to the kid. So it'd be rebound, kid, and go. So we'd get a lot of easy baskets in transition. Kittles was a flyer. Jefferson was a flyer. Kenyon Martin was a flyer. We just had guys like that. So that kind of summed up the team. Not a great half-court team. Not a great executing team. Just didn't shoot it well enough. Didn't execute well enough. Whatever the reason, but really good in transition and really good defensively. Create steals, create havoc, create turnovers, and go.
Yeah. What are these New Jersey fans like? How's that Prudential?
That's funny. It started out nothing. And as it became a thing, like they would show up for the playoffs. But when they showed up for the playoffs, it was loud. They were great. But it wasn't like I remember playing in the games, and I first got there, it'd be like 5,000 people there. And like you never see 5,000 people in an NBA game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how bad you are. We have the best record in the league, and it just starts to pick up. So it's just a different. We were at the Continental Airlines Arena, like right by MetLife, I don't know, some shopping mall now or something like that. And so, but yeah, you just don't see like half full arenas anymore, right? So I think that's kind of started, but Kid was great to watch, and I think people liked watching us play because we were fast. Yeah. That's what they liked about it.
Richard Jefferson, man, this is young Richard Jefferson too. He was a flyer, like you said.
Yeah,
Pac-10 guy, Arizona, right? He went to Arizona.
He did.
Yeah.
Pac-12 now, or what? How sad is that? Pac-12 is
Pac-2
gone.
now.
I don't.
Pac gone.
Once you go to college and start, and it's not just the institutions, the money, the players. It's not college anymore.
No, it's
pro. It's pro. Kids are staying in high school for like 6 years and then going to prep school just so they can get some NIL money when they get there, because like some 18-year-old kid is not getting NIL money.
Yeah.
So it's way different now.
But no Pac-12, RIP. I'm a West Coast kid. Loved it. Loved watching. When I got out here, I'd put on fucking, a Pac-12 game that started at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Bill Walton's over here talking about fucking mushroom trip.
Bill, baby. We love Bill.
I love Bill Walton. I mean, that's half the reason I watched.
He's great.
R.I.P. You got any Bill Walton stories?
Yeah, because Bill was a friend because he would come and do all the games, right? So we get to know him. And then funny thing, one time I was at All-Star and we interviewed Bill Walton, right? So like this interview has been great. We're going back and forth. You say something, I say something. With Bill, he says, so Bill, how is, man, my life is so great. It's the greatest life I've ever had. At this point in time, I couldn't live a greater life than this. And I think back to the days of John Wooden and his life. It was great, and he made my life great. And he just went on for like 27 minutes.
Yeah, your Bill Walton impression is
That's
amazing.
a good Bill
That
Walton.
is amazing.
It was
fucking Bill Walton.
Yeah, and you're like, what was it like playing in Boston? But Boston is the greatest city to ever have a basketball team. And if I never, ever thought I would ever finish the season, and I finished the season 2 times. And both those times, I was blessed enough to win a championship. And one of them was right here in Boston. It's easy. Like the easiest interview ever is, and you have to interrupt him. You have to be like, wait till he stops and be like, Bill, tell me about this guy. And he'll just go on to the next question.
Oh my!
He was great. He's like, you know what you do? You interview him and you go away and be like, man, I got to be happier. Like, I just got to be a happier dude.
100%. That's why I love to listen to him. I'm getting bitched at work all day, throwing Pac-12 games, listening to Bill Walton.
For sure.
Miss him, bro. Miss him.
When did this White Mamba nickname come along?
Oh my gosh. So I was in Chicago, right? And the guy who does my job for the Celtics is Stacey King. And so what I did, Kobe had this commercial where he just like, there's this car going down the street and he jumps over a car. I don't know if he did or didn't, but that's what it looked like, right? So, and I loved his shoes. Like I just, all I hooped in is Kobe's. Right? I loved them.
I traded them.
Yeah, they're great. Phenomenal, right? So I came and made a pair and they're like, they got like a snake skin on them. Right now everyone's wearing, I think they're the Kobe 6s. And so I made them, they're white snake skin. Couple laces, red. I was playing for the Bulls. I slapped them down on the card table in the plane. I don't know what kind of planes you guys fly on, but we have card tables, right, where people face each other. I slapped them down. I'm like, man, these are the White Mamba 1.0s, right? That's all I said. Then I take them and I go to the back. So that game, we fly to D.C. I have a good game. And Stacey King just goes off like, oh, the White Mamba, the man, the myth, the legend. Like, this is the White Mamba. And by the time I got back to Chicago, like White Mamba was hysteria. Like there were T-shirts, there were giant heads with like a snake body, like, you know, because it was like a thing, like put me in the game at the end of the game, right? And the only thing I don't regret a lot, but I do regret this. Like when I was here in Boston and the crowd would cheer for me to go in, I didn't like embrace it. I was always like, you know, like you guys should be cheering for Garnett and all this stuff, right? But I knew I was getting up there in age. So in Chicago, man, I really embraced it. Like, I didn't care what the score was. I was going out there to get a bucket, right? I'm getting a bucket for the people. Yeah. I'm shooting a bad shot. I'm telling the best player, yo, clear out. Yo, set me a screen right here. Like, I'm going all in on this. And I'm like, you got to give the people what they want, right? So then Thibodeau would be walking up and down. He's always gruffy. And he would look back, and I'm like, we up 20. Let's go. Come on, man. You know, these people they're going to keep booing you until you put me in, right? Like, I'm all in on it, right? That is something I would never do before, right? But now I'm like, man, you have to understand, the people want to see me at the end of the game. They don't care about Derrick Rose at that point. This is what it's about.
Big three formation, Scal in.
Exactly.
Big three formation.
Exactly. And then like he look at the score. I'm like 22. If you didn't know how to do the math, like, it's easy. Now put me in.
It's such an epic. It's an epic nickname. Yeah. I love using it too.
Yeah, it's good.
So good.
Jackie, let's get the game.
Leading up to this game, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but the Nets swept the Stephon Marbury Knicks in the first round. The Pistons got by the Bucks 4-1. Starbury, shout out Starbury. And then they held court at home. Pistons won the first 2 in Detroit.
Look at that score. 80.
82-64.
82-60 at the halftime.
Insane.
That's a Celtic halftime score.
That is gnarly.
Oh my god.
And then we had, so you see how like a lot of people like going into the games were like, man, we can't beat this team, right? Because we had 56 points and 80 points, but then we bounced back, right? So that's where we're at right now.
Oh, I know it's a different era and it's pre the proliferation of threes, but holding a team to 56 points in an NBA game is just like I know I'm thinking nowadays, but like,
if you watch the playoffs,
right,
and you watch when the refs allow physical play,
for sure,
everyone, it's fine. I know that the players now are better. I'm not stupid. Like everybody knows they're better. And you talk about the escapes or whatever it is, right? But when you watch, if the refs call a physical game, the scores aren't going to be like this,
right?
But they're going to be under 100 points because physical play leads to like a grimy game. You don't sprint up the floor. It's harder to get open. Like there's a lot that goes into it. And so back then, game was physical, so it's hard to score. And I think I like it. I'd rather watch 78-80 than watch 140-135. That's just me though. Like
I'm
going
you.
up and down, jacking up shots. That's fine, but I like watching physical play and everything being hard and tough and difficult. Just like when you guys run a play and you get 5 yards, that's a big play. It's like, man, we had to work hard for that 5 yards. We have to work hard for buckets when we score 56 points and lose 78-56.
Yeah, they're both getting paid.
Amen, brother.
You're going against pros.
No easy buckets here. No possessions off.
No easy buckets.
Should we get into this game a little bit here?
Let's go.
All right, so we start off. This thing was back and forth pretty much all game, especially in the first half. Again, another one of these halves we were talking about, 44-43 at the half. The Nets are behind. Then we fast forward to the fourth quarter when the action really gets going. Nets are up 87-85 with 13 seconds left. Missed 3 out of 4 free throws.
I know.
You got the big Richard Jefferson block right before that kind of looks like it could have iced it. And then Chauncey comes down and nails a 43-footer at the buzzer.
Yeah. So going up to this point, right? I played in the first half,
right?
And I
got
4 points.
4?
Yeah. And by the way, that's my role. I'm good with that. And I played really well against the Knicks. And now, I made 2 buckets. So I'm like, look, I did my job, right? And if everyone is good and healthy, I'm not playing in the second half. That's just how it goes, right? Yeah. And then, you keep going, and then the Chauncey Billups, we're about to ice the deal. All we got to do is make 1 free throw, and Chauncey Billups hit the half-court shot. Now we're going to overtime. And, I'm well aware of the fouls, just like you're well aware of the third downs, right? So I'm well aware of the fouls, and I'm like, all right, so I got to stay locked in, and I'm ready. But I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the moment, and it's game 5, and I'm not scared of the magnitude of it. And I'm not scared that the Pistons are a beast. Like, it's hard to score on them. I'm like, if this does – now, I'm not rooting for Kenyon Martin or Rodney Rogers or Aaron Williams to get in foul trouble. At this point, I'm not rooting for them, but I'm ready if it does happen.
Yeah, you got it. You have to have that mindset.
For sure.
And 8 guys fouled out in this game. Insane.
Yeah. Physical.
That's a scrappy match.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. And this is just the end of regulation. We got 3 overtimes left. Get to the third overtime. The big 3 at the corner. 41 seconds left. Scal nails it to put a nail in the coffin, baby.
All right, so let me
rewind a little bit.
Let me tell you. So I think it was Rodney Rogers. This is the funniest shit, right? This is the funniest shit. Rodney Rogers fouls out, right? And Lawrence Frank, who I love Lawrence, right? He's on my ass, but I'm back. Like, he was my assistant coach. When I got drafted by the Nets, he was the one working with me and watching film together and riding me every day, right? Now he's the head coach, right? So Lawrence Frank looks down the bench, right? And I'm like, Kenyon's out. Rodney Rogers just fouled out. There's no one left, right? And I'm playing really good ball. Like, I played well against the Knicks. I'm 2 for 2 in this game. Like, there's no one else. So he looks down at me and he goes, fuck. He was pissed. He was like, that's all I got is Scalabrine. So I was heated. I got fucking heated at that point. I got up and I was like, when I talk about heated, because in my mind, I'm thinking, so I played well against the Knicks. I'm 2 for 2 in this game. There's nobody else. And if you don't believe in me now, you ain't never going to believe in me because I don't know if I can play any better than this. I'm being honest. Like, I was cut from the 9th grade in high school. Like, I'm not sure that I can play any better than what I'm doing right now. So if you don't like me now, then you just fucking don't like me, right? So I got up and I was heated. So I go into the game. And this whole overtime performance My sole focus was fuck Lawrence Frank for not believing in me. So I am killing the Pistons with corner threes and everything. And I got to be honest with you. I went and watched. I didn't see none of them guys out there. I didn't see none of the defense out there. I'm knocking down threes, and every time I'm flexing, I'm looking and I'm thinking in my mind, like, this motherfucker didn't believe in me. How are you not going to believe in me?
So this performance was because
my coach didn't believe in me.
Freaking Lawrence Frank,
when I was playing,
and it was your guy.
No, it would be like.
Are you making this?
No, he knows about it, and that's my boy. He's my boy now, and I told him the story. He cracks up, right? But like it'd be like you got your break. You caught like, I don't know, 8 passes in a game, and then 3rd and long came, and they just like, nah, you ain't going in the game. You're like, what the fuck? This is what I do.
Dude,
This sign Amendola.
that was my career.
And you're
my
like,
rookie year, I ball out in the playoff game. Walker tore his ACL.
yeah, that's right.
And so I balled out. I had 2 touchdowns, I had like eight catches. We got our fucking teeth kicked in by the Ravens that year in the first round. All off season, I'm sitting there like you're saying, oh, playing the best. I'm gonna be a fucking baller. I'm gonna have so many more opportunities. I had 7 catches for the next 2 years. I mean, I was so fucking pissed. Someone had to murder someone, a back injury, and some broken groins for me to get my goddamn opportunity. But I never let it go.
No. But that was like that. You had to be thinking like, dude. You had to think.
I know exactly what you're thinking.
I don't know if I can play any better than what I'm doing right now.
No, but I know that coach hate fire.
It's real.
It's real. Like
it's real.
You look like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this whole, like, everyone thinks it's the Pistons. And by the way, if it was the Pistons, maybe I would have bricked all those shots, right? But it wasn't. It was like the fact that, like, I didn't think it really in my mind said, like, I don't know if I can fucking play any better than what I'm doing. Like, I am shooting the shit out of the ball right now, right? My release is fast. I don't know if I can play any better. And when he did that, it was like this crazy fire, goosebumps. Like, you motherfucker, right now, I'm gonna go off right now.
What if he Jedi mind tricked you and did that?
I asked him. He said, I didn't even know I did it.
Yeah.
He didn't even know that he was like.
See, he should have owned it. See, come on, coach. You should have said, I did that on purpose because I know I've been working with you. You play better fucking angry.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. So when I knew, let me tell you, this was there was this fun moment, right? So, and like, when you play, when things are fucking slow, you feel like you're Flash Gordon or Superman or something like that. So kid drove to the basket. And it's weird because your mind, it thinks in normal speed. You don't actually think slow. Your mind thinks, but like the seconds take like 5 seconds. So kid threw the ball at it, like, and I had the ball. I was like ready to catch it. While the ball was in the air, I could see the seams, right? And I looked up at the clock and I could see the clock switch from 2 and almost like it, like you could see it switch to 1, like that. And I go, damn, I got to shoot this quickly. Like, I'm not going to have time to catch it, drop it, and shoot it. So I'm just going to catch it high and shoot it. So I caught the ball in the air and I shot it. So I caught it and I shot it. And the ball rattled out and flew out. I was running back and said, holy shit, I've never felt this before. I am fucking in the zone right now. And I think I made a 3 and then that happened. So like whatever happened to my mind, like, and I think like the studs, the Jordans, the studs, like I think that's how they live. Yeah. And that's why they do the things that are impossible and it makes it look easy to them because I think like everything they do is in slow motion.
Slow motion.
Yeah. So I experienced that to the highest level one time. Other times I've done some things, but that was like, I could not believe the way that transpired. And that was when I just shut it off and just went off.
Scal, I remember having that zone in basketball in high school once.
Did you?
I swear to God. Just one of those days where anything you were shooting, everything was just, and I was on like the Frost Soft team, like shitty team, JV team. But I remember just shooting, and like you said, I saw the seams of the ball when it rotated. And I remember doing that a couple times. That was the.
What about in football? Same?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been in the zone a few.
Does the spin, like for me, it looks like it's spinning.
It's
but
fast.
For you, it's it.
Yeah, you try to look at the star. You know, the very tip of the point of the
really?
ball. You try to look at that. I felt that zone in Super Bowl 53, where like I just felt everything. Any route I moved, I was bopping everyone. They were changing matchups on me, so I was, routing up different guys.
Yep.
Ball, like when you pluck the ball and it's just I've felt that a few times. That's like the most euphoria you could ever have.
I totally agree.
When you're in that and it's like a superhero. You feel like you're in a superhero.
Yeah.
That's the best.
It's the best.
Now, Jack, let's get back in.
Heck yeah. So to wrap this thing up, final score 127-120. Scal dropped 9 in OT. RJ finished with 31. Scal finished with 17. And we go back to Jersey up 3-2, trying to close this thing out.
Yeah, and then it all went away.
I'm sorry, Scal.
I would tell you right now, like what happened is I made the scouting report and I didn't see the hoop for the next 2 games. Like every time I caught the ball, it was like they were right there. So that was it.
They didn't let that zone.
No, it was like I couldn't even see the hoop.
Wow.
I couldn't see the hoop. I was an afterthought, and then I became like a featured guy, and it was literally like I caught it, and all I saw was people in my face. And by 4 minutes of that, I was back to being on the bench.
Man.
We had a decent lead. We had a decent lead in that game, but they just chipped away. This game in game 6, for like 5 minutes, no one scored. No one scored. It was just back and forth, miss. No one could score. And then Richard Hamilton drives left, pump fake, pivot, pump fake, pivot, pump fake, shoots it over Jason Kidd, up by 6. That was it. And then game 7, we got smoked.
Remember that was Rip?
Rip.
That's your boy.
Yeah. I know. I saw Rip at a concert recently.
Yeah.
He went to UConn.
Yeah.
So he's like a big Pats fan, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. He would always say that him and Brady used to hang out here and there when they won the ship this year.
Got it.
And what was that concert? It was me. It was some rap concert. What was it? I forget, but he was cool as fuck.
Yeah, Rip. I played with him in Chicago.
Too.
Yeah. Real laid
I
back.
forgot about the
Real
Chicago
laid
days.
back.
Man.
Rip. And
Yeah.
then, go ahead, Scal.
I was just saying, like, later on, we end up with Boston, played them, and, the Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton, both from UConn battles, and both guys come off screens. And, I mean, Ray Allen was just fried. Like, his whole arms were just, like, ripped, like, just this nails and scratches. And, like, those guys were just, not only, it's like, it's different, like, those guys got to run around screens. They got to chase each other around screens. But then when you do get an open shot, you got to knock that thing down.
You got to knock it down.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do.
It's kind of like the field goal. It reminds me of a last shot situation, we call it in football.
Okay.
It's where you have the ball before half and you're trying to suck down as much time as you can off the clock so you can get that 10-point swing. You kick the field goal. We'd always say, great job of executing, taking off the time, but it all doesn't mean anything unless you make the kick.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
It's like that, like the shot. You do all the work for the shot. You got to make the shot.
Yeah.
Got to hit it, baby. Got to get around all those screens. Got to get to your spot. Got to knock it down. But
Jason
the Pistons
Kidd.
would
The
go
knee.
on. What's up?
Jason Kidd and his knee had.
I know, man. I hate it.
I remember that, man.
He had the microfracture,
Yeah.
right? You put the holes in, the marrow bleeds through, and you create a new cartilage, right? It's like he ended up like having a long career, like played 20-something years,
Yeah.
right? But you should see, he'll tell you, like, he does his preparation, the Al Horford thing that we were talking about earlier, just about I got to get in every day and do my preparation to play, And it does, as you get older, you spend a lot more time just like preparing yourself to play like 20 minutes,
You got to work so much harder when you get older.
Yeah, but you're smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they tried to give me a microfracture surgery. That's why I retired, because I was 34 years old.
You had no.
So the whole medial side of my knee wore out.
Yeah.
And so I tore the root of my meniscus, and that's what holds the meniscus down. So they were like, this was before my last season. They're like, we can go in and we can give you microfracture surgery. it's a 12-month recovery, or you can try to play with pain. I tried to play with pain.
Yes,
and then after that, I had to hang it up. It was bad.
Yeah. Was it hard for you at first?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was definitely hard because you're so accustomed to the routine, the life. I mean, we've had the same life since we were 8 years old, where you go to school, you come home, you go to practice, you eat dinner, you do it again. Now the school's replaced with football school, where you're installing, and it's that kind of. But I've had that same life, so of course you get. I was hurt, but I was also emotionally and physically exhausted after that year, where I couldn't even walk until Friday the next week.
Ooh.
And then I had to get up to play Sunday, and then the anxiety and of having the standard that you've put out on the field for 5-7 years at that point when I was in my my prime, to like, you don't even look like the same guy on the film. You know what I mean? So I was like so beat up mentally, and my ego was hurt, and the pain, there was actual pain, where like as soon as I retired, I was like, it was like something got lifted off of me. I was content. We won 3 Super Bowls. I had a Super Bowl MVP. I exceeded everything I ever thought I could do.
Yeah.
So I was cool with that and content with that. But I like hated the game for like the first year out, just because I felt like shit.
Yeah.
Like it eats you up and it spits you out. Like, you know what I mean?
You felt worse than you felt playing?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And then it wasn't until I started feeling good.
Yeah.
My body started, and that's when I started missing the game.
Yeah.
So it was like a year and a half, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Then you're like, you go up on the field, I'm kicking the ball around with my daughter. I'm like, oh, I still fucking run.
Yeah.
Man, I do miss that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But it was crazy. Do you miss it?
No, I had mine was different. So I wasn't good enough, right? Like I wasn't probably good enough the last 4 years I played, but somehow I got a job, right?
Yeah.
But then I had some opportunities to go play overseas, and then I'm very opportunistic, like in life, right? So, and I just do things. You guys, Aiden sets this up, I'm gonna do it. Like I don't know, this could turn into something, and it's gonna be great. Or if I can, if not, I can just chop it up with you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's just how life is for me, right? So. Tommy Heinsohn was getting up there in age when he was doing the Celtic games, and I know he wasn't traveling. So I'm talking like the day I lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, Derrick Rose tears his ACL. We were set to play the Celtics in the second round of the playoffs. We were a 1 seed. They were a 4-5. They won, we won. We were supposed to play. I had all my boys lined up. It's like, we're going to hang out. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to come into town. I got the game, but it is what it is, right? And so we lost. So I was like, man, I still want to hang out with my boys. So I called NBC and said, no, I want to work the series. I know your team, and I know the 76ers. So I had the TV gig that was available, and so I started doing that, and I liked it. I was pretty good at it. I kept it real. It's basketball, whatever, right? And so I had that opportunity. I could have went overseas, and then my wife was pregnant with, at that time, would be my son, third kid, and she just basically told me I'm not going overseas.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I got this job that I like, but I'd rather keep playing because of my ego. It was all ego. It wasn't logical. It wasn't like, it was just all like, nah, man, I'm a hooper. This is what I do. But it was the smartest decision I've ever made. Like this thing could last for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I like it. And I went around just playing hoop everywhere. So I was hurt at first that I had to stop, and I was like angry that I had to stop. But then I know the hoop was good. And then I'll tell you what happened. Second year, I take a job with the Golden State Warriors, and I started playing pickup with them. And on Monday, those guys play 4 days, Monday through Thursday, and they take the weekends off, and they come back. Monday, I was nice. Like, I held my own. I was hanging with Steph Curry and David Lee and Draymond Green. I was holding my own. But then Thursday rolls around, I can't move.
Yeah.
And those guys are getting better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, man. Like I literally cannot move my feet at all. And so that was when I was like really content with the whole thing. Like, I'm not even good enough to play.
Yeah.
Before that, I thought I was. But playing against those guys, I was like really knowing like I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Like, it's just, even if I wanted to, it would be too hard. And then you got that there's that place that you were just talking about. The amount of work it takes just to be fucking average, or just to, me, just to fucking suck. It was like I'd have to dedicate 8 hours a day just to be a 12th man on a team.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it. Like, do something else.
That's exactly how it was for me. Jackie, wrap it up.
Yeah, so the Pistons go on to beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Scal spends his next season with the Nets, then comes over to the Celtics, baby.
Celtics.
Yeah, that's right, and wins an NBA title.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I went on a stretch there. In college, I lost to Duke. Then we went to the finals. I lost to the Lakers. Then we went to the finals again, lost to the Spurs. Then we played the Pistons. They won the championship. Then I think the following year, who won it? I guess it would be the Spurs at that point. So I lost to 4 straight champions, right? But that team was a really good team, a really underrated group, and they deserved it. I don't care what anybody says about anything. Like, that team was really good. Rasheed Wallace made a big difference, and I was happy I got a chance to even be in something like that.
It's crazy they only won one.
The Spurs were good though. That's like the Duncan era, and they just went back and forth, right? And then I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I felt like they were better than LeBron's team, and somehow I felt like LeBron got every call in a series against them, and then LeBron ended up going to the finals, and they got smoked by the Spurs.
Yeah.
But I thought a Pistons Spurs, it's like one of those things where, for whatever reason, Pistons Spurs had no ratings, but I thought it was the greatest finals ever.
Yeah.
It was everything was hard. Everything. Inbounding the ball was hard. So I just loved that series, but it just didn't look like people just weren't, for whatever reason, they just didn't like it.
Yeah, the Spurs, kind of like the Patriots, just come out on top.
Pop, baby.
They figure it out.
They figure it out.
How many? They've been to 11 Super Bowls, like the Tom Brady era, since that era to now.
He went to 10.
He's been to 10, but that's one with Tampa Bay or 10 with the Patriots.
So 03, 04, or 1.
6, lost 3.
11, yeah.
Yeah.
11 all time for the Patriots. So.
That is hard to do, man.
It was like he was going into a Super Bowl every third year. Second 2.5 years.
There's some crazy stat that his winning percentage in AFC Championship games is higher than his completion. He was more likely to have a pass be incomplete than he was to miss an AFC Championship game.
Unreal.
That's crazy.
Unreal. No, it's
Then you go to the Celtics. You get a ship though.
Yeah,
the boys, baby.
That was sick.
That was
especially with the big three. That was such
Garnett, man. I don't know how it is, but he walks in the room, it's different, man. Like everywhere, the locker room, the weight room, the practice, he don't fuck around, man. He's a great,
he's a dog.
Off the court, great guy, cared about everything, cared about the 12th man. He cared about my daughter who was 4. He cared about everybody's family. It was real, not like, hey, what's up? How's your family? It was legit, right? But he was all business when he was playing basketball at the facility. And that stuff is just margins in the professional sports are so small. Garnett walks in and everyone's 1% better that month. And they improve 1% every month for a season because of Garnett. We're a whole lot better at the end of the season, or a drill is 1% better. It's consistency and how much he changes everything. But I've been around good players, teammates. Pierce was great. Kid is amazing. Derrick Rose. Nothing was like Kevin Garnett.
KG.
Nothing. Yeah.
You're like the big brother.
It's bigger than that. Like a big brother, father, uncle, all that in one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very impressive. Being around him for the 3 years, very impressive human being.
I've never got to kick it with him. Me and Paul we've hung out a few. I got stars.
Well documented.
Yeah, it's well documented. I got arrested.
Hood slide.
Hood slide. You can't do a fucking Starsky and Hood slide anymore for Paul Pierce.
Citizen
Me
citation.
and Paul we go to this bar. We go to this place and there's cops everywhere. And when we start talking, I did a hood slide. Some guy gets out of his car. We thought we got away.
Wait. There's a dude in the car and you do a hood slide?
Yeah.
Nice car?
It was a Benz.
Oh my gosh.
Beverly.
What would you do if someone hood slided you?
It depends on the hood slide.
Well, if they pulled it off, you would have been cool.
Yeah.
You
I
didn't
didn't
pull
pull
it
it.
off.
It was a little humid in the air. I had a jean. It's stuck.
You had your
Denim and
moment.
hood slides don't go together.
Yeah.
You had your moment. You didn't capitalize.
Didn't capitalize. This
Oh
was
my goodness.
Jack, we got any leftovers?
No, I just that was amazing. The only one I think, Scal, better celebration, 08 or 2024?
24.
Better celebration? Wow.
Yeah, everything is bigger now.
I feel
everything is bigger. The only thing I would say is, in 08, I don't remember one cell phone. All you see is cell phones.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like, everyone lives life like peeking through their cell phone, Like, it's crazy.
How about living the moment, buddy?
I know, but so besides that, but no. And by the way, you've celebrated multiple Super Bowls. Yeah. It takes experience. You got to know, you know what I mean? Like, I regretted the way I celebrated in 08. I wish I would have partied all night with the fans. That's just me. So no, it's 24 was, and they did a great job. And like I said, everything is bigger now. I think it was 2 million people that showed up.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
Dump boats, all that, baby.
Crazy. And younger. Like, I don't remember that many young people out when I was, but maybe because I'm older.
Yeah. They're out.
They are out.
They're out, baby.
They are
Let's
out.
name the game. So
Oh, it's the Scalabrini game.
this is Scalabrine game?
Everyone referenced it as the Scalabrini game.
So it's the Scalabrine game, not the White Mamba
no,
game.
I wasn't White Mamba at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Everybody would say, you remember the Brian Scalabrine game? And they'd be like, yeah, he went off on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the game. Let's
the
score the game. Is this the greatest game of all time? Let's score it. The stakes of this game, game 5, in a
7-game series.
7-game series, but it was this first round.
Second
Second
semi. So stakes 1 to
Stakes
10?
1 to 10, decimals okay.
Given the fact that both teams were the best teams in the East, right? Even though Indiana had the best record in the East, I would say it's like an 8. I'd say it's an 8.
That's a good score.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll go with the 7.8. Game 5, we still nothing on the line yet.
I was in that same territory, 7.1.
But he's a ball guy, so what?
We matched 7.8.
Oh, we go 7.
I did 7.8 too.
But this is such a swing game for those 7-game series, so there's a little more importance.
Yeah,
there.
a little bit more, but it is a semi.
Yeah.
But it's just the magnitude of those two teams, the fact that they spanked us and we spanked them, and like that game on the road. Oh man, you should have seen like Kid Rock was there talking shit to me. I was like running up and down. Like, I think Eminem was there. Detroit
All of
got
Detroit was out,
some
man.
real like grimy dogs,
Yes.
with the fans. So it wasn't like what you see in the NBA now. It was like there was dudes in, I think they had to be pimps in fur coats and glasses, pinky rings on. What you doing? Like there were some real characters
Detroit's
in Detroit.
real, too.
Yo, Detroit is real. Detroit is some real dogs, man.
we had Robert Ory on the show. He said Eminem was talking shit on the sideline.
Oh
too.
man, they go at you. But what they don't understand is like that makes me like when I was a rookie. Like I told you, that game I was in I was spinning, right? I think it was my first game, not my preseason. It was a preseason game. I was spinning. It was going so fast. And Latrell Sprewell started talking shit to me. And I was like, cool, I'm good now. If you're going to take the time to talk shit to me, I belong.
Yeah.
Before that, if he would have been like, nice shot, I would have been like,
They got
But the fact that he was going to take the time out of his day to talk shit to me, I mean, he's like, all right, I've been here before. I've been the white boy in the gym before, the only white boy before. I'm good with that role. I'm not good with the role I was just in when I don't believe I belonged out there, but I'm good now.
You got to have. Hey, it's a white guy in sport.
Amen, bro.
Oh yeah, you got to be messed up. You got to be messed up.
You got to be able to handle it.
Yeah, you got to be messed up.
Star power. We just talked about it. Eminem. This could be from team to ambiance. Who was at the game? Star 0 to 10.
6.
6.
Yeah. I mean, but it's
Star power.
it's like you get like even like just the basketball players. I think probably Kid is the top 30. So yeah, it's not loaded with Mount Rushmores. You know what I mean?
That's a very honorable score. I'm gonna go with. I was gonna go 7-4.
Who's the stars?
I mean, I love that Detroit Pistons team.
But they were a group.
They were, but like that's still that team is just tough.
Oh yeah.
And they're a group. I like to rip.
Man, I went way high.
I usually rag on
What were you guys? Who are the stars?
Jason Kidd,
dude, Corliss Williams.
Kid, Rasheed,
Scalabrine.
Wallace, Ben
Yo,
I got a
Wallace,
funny ass Corliss Williamson story. So like
Heck yeah.
year one, like man, he destroyed me. That was my matchup, right? I get in the game and he was destroying me. I was using a different word. He was destroying me, and I was like, man, I can't even stop this guy. And I fouled him, and he scored on me. I fouled him again. He scored on me. And like I just subbed out. Like the coach was like, what the fuck was that, right? Like it's not your job is to stop the backup. And they would just go at me, right? So that whole year, my strength coach was like, Corliss Williamson's in the weight room working. I had a picture of Corliss Williamson, and every day I worked, it was Corliss Williamson. He was like, I don't know how to stop. I started studying film. I learned how to work. Like, I learned how to prepare. So I started watching everything he did and people who did well against him. It was all setting the tone to be like, this is what a pro does.
Yeah.
Right? Not just for him, but for everybody. Next year, we're at the Meadowlands, which no one at the game. We're playing the Pistons. It's a preseason game. There's like, it's quiet as hell. He gets the ball. I'm in the post. He bumps me. I tip the ball out of bounds, and I stop him. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, yeah. And everyone looks at me like, what's wrong with this guy? But that was my demon right there, man.
Yeah.
But I've gone against dudes before, and maybe they get me, but like this was embarrassing the way he got me. And I was in my mind people don't understand how much that meaningless possession meant to me when I just like stopped him, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like the biggest moment. And I was like 30 pounds heavier and stronger and everything like that. And I was like, this is like the biggest moment of my life. Some preseason game.
You put your mind to it, you got it.
Conquer those demons, baby.
So I don't know about you guys in the star power, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was wilding on this one.
I had an 8.3, Jack at 8.7.
All right.
What's the gameplay 0 to 10? Gameplay of the flow of the game.
Oh, you
back
know
and
what?
forth. You guys went 3 overtimes.
I'm not gonna lie. It's like because this was two defensive teams that don't score, and we go 127, 120. I thought the flow of this game was amazing. So I'm gonna say like 8.5.
Back
8.5
and forth all night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was shot making, tough defense, everything you would want.
I'm going 8.
You guys,
9-2.
9-2 triple
Yeah.
OT? Buzzer
Like,
beater?
Yeah, the
Jack
flow,
with the 9.2, I had
the flow
8.8.
Incredible.
It was incredible because it wasn't that bullshit defense.
Yeah.
It was legit. You know,
Now you got to score the name of the game. The Scalabrine game.
that's a 10.
10. I gave it 10.
I gave it a 10.
Yeah, that's a 10.
I'm going to go with a 9-1.
9-1. I'll take a 9-1.
I think I was wilding here before I knew what we were calling it.
You guys are some fucking haters.
Oh! What does it put us on the board?
Wait a minute. To be a guy like me from where I came from to have a fucking game named after him, and
I
you
know,
get a 4.5.
I
There's
was-
something wrong
Jack,
with you.
I
There's
know.
something wrong with you guys.
I scored this before we did the. Oh, man.
Jack had a 4. I had a 5.5. I stand by my 5.5.
oh my God.
I didn't even know this game
You know what?
existed.
You know how unlikely it is to have a game
I
named
know.
after you when you're
know.
me.
Oh,
It's like
Scal.
it'd be like a street named after one of you motherfuckers, man. You think
that's
that shit-
happening
You're
for
gonna
Jack.
give that? I'm gonna be like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna give that shit a 3.
I'm sorry, Scal.
Fuck Kyler
You're
Street.
breaking my.
I'm just saying. Like, oh, LeBron game fucking 10. Come on, man.
And I'm usually a glazer. Oh,
You
I'm
should
sorry,
glaze
Scal.
me.
I should be.
Yeah, everyone else is
Can I change my
overlooked
score?
it.
Jack, you can change your
Jeez.
score.
Come on, Jack.
Come
Jack,
on.
change
man.
9-7, 9-7.
Of all the
9-7.
things, I
Nine.
mean, you understand the
I know, Scal.
unlikeliness of something like
I
that
do,
fucking
I do.
happening?
I do.
Like, you got a better chance being struck by lightning.
I didn't think of the nickname. I'm sorry. I screwed up.
Okay.
But this is cultural impact. This is games with names.
That's right, though.
You're up against the
I'm with you,
immaculate
Scal.
Like,
reception.
when you guys
Hey.
fucking watch, you actually thought you can do it because you saw me do it. You don't think that when you watch LeBron.
Facts.
You don't think
That's
that?
true.
You see
That's
me and
true.
I give hope to fucking millions of kids.
Show them where it stands on
So you're an 8.12 now that Jack gave into peer
8.12. Where does that
pressure.
stack up in all the games we've done?
It is right above Khabib versus McGregor, UFC 229.
With Dana White.
And right below the 2007 Western Conference Playoffs, Game 6, Mavs versus Warriors. And just below 2011 NBA Finals, Game 6, Mavericks versus Heat. So it's in good company.
That's
wait,
in
wait,
good-
wait. Where am I at?
You're right here.
Okay.
8.12.
Finals, Mavs, Heat. That was a nasty ass game. That was really
That was
good.
wild.
That was real star power too. Then you have Super Bowl,
You have the Khabib fight and McGregor.
Khabib McGregor. Is that where he broke his leg?
No, that's when McGregor lost to
You got
Khabib.
tapped out.
Tapped him out.
Gotcha.
Remember
Got it.
that was with like the crazy, like pre-fight shit where they broke the bus and
Oh,
stuff.
Throwing dollies through the window.
Okay.
We had Dana
Game
White
5
on for that
NBA
one.
Finals, Spurs, Pistons, SEC Championship. All right. That's good.
That's a good
Yeah,
score.
good score.
Very good
Good.
score.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very good score.
Hell
What,
yeah.
And what do they call it? Does any of them have a name?
A lot
Malcolm
of these,
Butler. Oh, that's the.
The Super Bowl.
Yup. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these don't really have names, which is tough.
yeah, these are we do two different types of names. This is their government names, which is like the 2004 ALCS Game 4 Yankees
Gotcha,
versus Red
gotcha,
Sox, but it's like,
gotcha,
oh, it's this.
gotcha.
But
game,
in the
you know?
quotes is some of the names.
So what is
Yeah.
the millennial
Wave.
That was Laird.
That's Laird Hamilton.
rode the heaviest wave of all time in 2000.
Oh.
Tahiti, some crazy storm. He's riding like a 70-foot wave that's just like thick and
That's
glassy.
just crazy.
Crazy.
Yo, can you imagine?
And
You run from people, but can you imagine fucking up and dying? Like
No.
I can't either.
That wave, like the coral is like 5 feet under you. So if you get hit by the wave,
You're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. Like when you watch all that stuff, you just put it in perspective. Like, dude, if I mess up, I just get benched.
Yeah.
Like maybe I lose my job, maybe, but we're talking death.
Death.
That's crazy.
They're missing something part of their brain.
Wild.
Yeah.
Scal, we miss anything about this game?
One thing I'll tell you, there's the funniest shit with Rasheed Wallace. So I get checked in the game in the first half, and this is like to give you an example of Rasheed Wallace and how good he is. He gets the ball in the post, and I'm right behind him in the post. He takes the ball, he looks, and he sees me guarding him. He looks at the bench. He yells at the coach, "Y'all put this motherfucker on me?" and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, fuck this dude, right? And he goes, pow, pow, and he goes into the fadeaway. I jumped as high as I could to contest it. I thought I was gonna block it. He just puts right over me, man.
Did it?
Yeah, like I felt tiny at that point, like insignificant. But I got a bucket in the first half, which I think helped me carry over to the second half. But like when he said that to the bench, oh my gosh, it was so bad. Come on, you never went to the sideline, looked at the defensive coordinator, and be like, "This motherfucker can't guard me."
I have.
No way. Y'all got to, before I run this route, y'all got to change your matchup.
Or I would just say to this, you got no shot.
You're just like, nah, you're just not equipped.
Especially, I'm going to go there. I remember when they would put Jimmy Leonard or there was another safety, a white safety. I'm like, can't put a white guy on me, dude. That's fucking racist.
No, but like, yo, like when I got out and people wanted to challenge me one-on-one, I'm like, yo, man, if you're white, you ain't beating me, dude.
Yeah.
But if you're not a pro, and you're white, you 100% ain't beating me.
100%.
If you're a brother, you might beat me. But I doubt you'll beat me. But you have a chance.
Oh my gosh.
The truth.
That's
It's
right.
true, man. Like, listen, it is what it is. I know it sounds weird coming from two white guys, but that's how we think.
That's how we think. I mean,
I guess Dominique told me this story one time about Larry Bird, and there's this guy named John Concack, right? So Larry Bird got the ball, and he really wanted Dominique to guard him. So I guess this is the story. I haven't seen it, but this is the story. So Larry got the ball against John Concack, and he's like, looked to the coach. He's like, "You went with him on this matchup?" And I guess Larry Bird just dropped the ball and said, "Man, I don't even want this shit." I never seen it, but the rumor is he just dropped it like, that's a waste of my time. And he just ran back. And all of a sudden, I guess John Concack was shook by it, man.
basketball, man. They guys are
Larry, bro. Larry legend.
fucking Larry the Legend. I get in wormholes watching him.
He's a beast.
Just his shit talking or the stories about him where he just played one whole half left-handed and shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the injury thing. And by the way, a lot of times, like reason why the white guys aren't that good is their bodies just can't keep up.
Can't.
That's really it.
Broke
but
down.
he was nasty, but like you talk about it's just living at that life, man. It's hard, man, every day. But you can. I'll put his 3 seasons. I don't care who you want to put against Jordan. You want to bring LeBron in. I'll take Larry Bird's triple MVPs against any 3 seasons out there.
Yeah.
Any 3 seasons, because the dude was 30, 10, and 8 back in the day when it was hard to get 30, 10, and 8.
Yeah. I don't know the game that well to throw that out there.
He has 3 MVP. The one guy that's coming close is Nikola Jokic. Jokic, like low key, he's kind of like just keeps dominating the NBA, but
He doesn't even look like he likes basketball. He just goes out here just to play it. I like it though.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Workman-like.
Yeah.
Scott, you want to plug anything? Plug anything? You got anything? What are you working on?
Yeah, you guys just follow me on Instagram at White Mamba. You see a lot of me coaching little kids and like just kind of helping kids and paying it forward. That's my thing now. Like I was super blessed to have great coaches growing up. And I know I don't make it if it's not for those great people. And now I'm just trying to help other kids out. So if you guys follow the kids, you see them, or just come out and if you ever see us out and about, come say what's up.
That's what's up, man.
Heck yeah.
We appreciate you coming on. This was fun, man.
Thanks
It
again,
was
Scal.
fucking awesome.
Sorry for going 2 hours,
Hey,
man.
we're good. Hey.
But I really appreciate you having me on, and I always like to chop it up with other people and
Fuck yeah, I mean,
find different walks of life.
especially, we shared this cool town together
For sure.
and that's such a cool, get to hear your perspective of your stories, and to have that common ground where we played for this city, which is such a magical, cool city. This is a really cool city. Every time I come back, I live in LA right now, but when you come back, it feels like home.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That was our best scoring section ever.
That was so
That was
fun.
our best scoring segment ever.
Yeah.
Usually people just like 10, 10, 10 or like low, 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 but like
You
back and
had a
forth.
real
That was
integrity
awesome.
type score,
Yeah.
Matthew Slater type score.
Yeah.
Matthew Slater style score.
I needed to be called out, and I'm glad Scal was the guy to do it.
Man, old Scal.
Knew the assignment.
From the second he walked in, Scal brought the energy. He brought the heat. That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I want to go check out his AAU basketball team.
Oh my God, me too. I want to see Scal the coach. I want to see Scal the broadcast. Scal can do it all, man.
He really is just a lovable guy.
I just want to see you one-on-one on him.
He's 6'10". I think I could take him.
I think so too, brother.
I'm just joking.
You got that quickness, brother.
Nah, he'd be able to cut me off. Man, that was fun. That was a really good episode. It was
Amen.
cool to go over, and so much crossover. And I haven't really got to sit down with Scal and talk. That was like our first time really talking. Like we see I've seen him at a Celtics game. We'll dap each other up and everything, but I've never got to like really sit and talk to him. He's a engaging guy.
He really is.
Good storyteller too.
Awesome storyteller.
And finally, we get a guest that like jumps in with scoring.
That was a man after your heart.
Yeah,
Good scoring.
He really was.
Amen.
You know what time it is, boys?
Hotline Bling.
Time to hit the old hotline. Let's see it. Again, guys, that number is 424-291-2290.
Bang our line.
Julian Edelman. This is John down here in Oklahoma. High school teacher and soccer coach.
Soccer coach.
Mowing the greens for the summertime because wait till time. The truest Ironman of the NFL. Just got done listening to a podcast where you're talking about the PBR and who to interview. You need to interview J.B. Mooney. It's Mauney, the truest Ironman of the PBR. His story is amazing. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
That's bull riding, right?
Yeah, the people love
Hell
calling
yeah.
in, and they want us to be some bull riding guys, man.
I would love to go see these jokers. And I want to talk. That'd be fun to interview one of those fucking crazy dudes.
I'm down, bro.
Laird was like competing against water. These guys compete against bulls.
Wow.
Let me get down there. Let me be the rodeo clown for the day. Come on now, let's do it. Mutton busting.
Dude,
One busted.
Scott Eastwood once asked, I don't know if he invited me or told me he was going to the PBR in LA. But I was like, what the fuck's PBR? He's like, dude, it's pro riding bull or
Pro bull riding.
yeah, pro bull riding. I'm like,
Dude, they go nationwide.
it's a big thing.
See, I want to go Texas. I want to steal some Texas Fowler. I want to wear the hat. I want the belt buckle. You, Kai Guy, Dola, show us the ropes. I want to do it up. I want to do it right. I want the whole shebang bang.
Let's do it.
Hell yes. Let's do it. JB Mooney. All right.
JB Mooney.
We gotta start fishing for him online.
I'm down.
We'll follow him on social.
All right.
Fans, help us out.
All right.
Hey, Jules, fan from Rhode Island. Now that you've gotten Burge, Ernie, and some of the support staff on. It's time to break into the training room and get Jimbo Whalen and Joe Van Allen.
Ooh.
Keep up the good work.
Jim Whalen or Joe Van Allen?
Bro, deep cut.
Wow, they have. I mean, they got some stories. I don't think they would open up. They'd be too scared.
Dude, if this is a real deal Pats fan, if he's calling
this
in,
sounds like an inside job.
It's an
okay.
inside job by
Okay.
someone in there, but
that makes sense.
Dan
you know,
from Rhode
'cause
Island. Yeah,
I think
inside job.
Jim lives in Rhode Island, and I'm pretty sure I think Joe does too.
Interesting.
Because I used to go to Joe's little son's hockey games.
What a guy.
Woonsocket?
Support.
Do you know what program?
No clue, but hockey rink.
What kind
With
of
a lot of rinks.
St. Charles?
A lot of rinks.
What kind of guy were you in the training room?
What kind of guy was I in the training room? Now, what year are we talking?
We're talking prime. Like winning. You already got one Super Bowl under your belt. Like heyday, baby.
Probably pretty needy. Probably pretty needy.
Hey,
Those guys are the best. They put up with me, and they a lot of the times the trainers act like psychologists.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? You're on the table and you're beat up. You know, the medical staff and the training staff that we had. You know, like you're bitching to them. They're just taking it. They're listening to everything. I mean, they're great dudes. I was probably very needy though.
I feel that.
Sorry, guys.
Takes a village, baby.
Takes
All
a
right,
village.
last one here.
Hey, this is Carrie from Virginia. You guys, hands down, have the best sports podcast. You're the ones that deserve a 9-figure deal. Somebody ought to give that to you.
Thank you.
But a game that I'd love for you to do
Thank you.
is the On to Cincinnati game where the Chiefs whooped up on the Patriots on September 29th, 2014, because I believe the backlash from that game spurred on the second dynasty. I would love to have maybe Alex Smith cover that game. I think that'd be a really interesting game to cover. Thanks.
What's her name? Carrie?
Carrie from Virginia.
That'd be a fun game to go over.
Really
The
would be.
ripple effects of that game.
Seriously.
And it would be cool to have Alex Smith come on here. And I got a couple bones to pick with him. I heard a couple of his takes on NFL Prime.
Come on here and plug his UFO sandals. He said they're life changing.
UFO?
UFO. You know those joints he's promoting? Those big thick sandals.
I haven't seen him.
He said-
Maybe I do. I have him.
Recovery saying he said they changed his life. That's interesting.
He's a stud, man. I will give it to Alex Smith. Not just his injury thing that he went through, but the second career he had after I grew up in the Niners when they drafted him number 1 overall. We thought he was a bust. Thought he was a joke, and then turned it around and started playing pretty good. And then he, got paid and did well in Kansas City. He was a good quarterback. He from what he started. I mean, they also had nothing in San Francisco. It was bad.
I forgot about that era.
That era was bad. It was post Jeff Garcia, I think.
Oh yeah.
And we were still we weren't like good then, the Niners, but we were like competitive enough to get to like the wild card maybe. We'd lose to Green Bay all the time in the fucking divisional round.
That was like early. Was that like Brandon Lloyd was there?
B. Lloyd was probably with Alex Smith.
Right. I thought that was kind of his only guy.
I went to the game where B. Lloyd had that crazy catch. I think it was a preseason game too.
I think of that catch probably like once a month.
where he went backhand on there.
It's insane. It pops up on my Instagram. I share it with you every time.
I still remember a story about B. Lloyd. He got this sick Porsche delivered to the stadium.
Nice.
Like insane. It was like one of those specialty Porsches. It had a big wing on the back, like it's like a race Porsche. And I go, man, that thing's sick. He goes, nah, this shit sucks. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, that fin looks terrible. Like, I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I sent it back. They're gonna take the goddamn fin off.
Sounds like me after an episode.
Oh my God. Brandon Lloyd, high standard.
High standard.
Top gear, Brandon Lloyd.
I don't
Let's go.
understand why you ordered that one then. Like, I got to get the story on it. I loved B. Lloyd. He was fun.
I like the idea of like, it's like you order something from Amazon. It's like, it doesn't really fit. I hate this. Like, I'll take it by
it's
UPS.
like a $400,000 Porsche.
It sucks.
I don't know if it was that, but Yeah, it was. I remember he's like, I hate the fin. I'm like, what? It's a Porsche, race
so
Porsche.
funny. Brandon, what a beast, bro.
He was. I learned a lot from him.
And,
Love to ask Alex Smith about Urban Meyer in Utah.
Ooh.
I wonder what that would be.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Deep cut. Urban, old Urban, before he got those headaches, old Urban. Before he was hanging out with the co-eds up in Ohio State at the bar, old Urban.
Is that Columbus, I hear?
I believe so. Ooh. Old Urban said, you guys go home back to Jacksonville. I'll hang around for a day or two.
Oh.
Remember that? Remember that old Urban?
I
He had some business to attend to. Man, I'm just letting
I've
Urban
never
have
heard
it.
I've never heard a coach not go back with the team.
Insane, except Bill Parcells after the Super Bowl, but he was already out the door.
Yeah, but he took the Patriots job.
Right. Wild, though.
Was it the Patriots?
Oh, no, he took the Jets job.
Jets job.
Because he lost the Super Bowl with the Pats. And one more thing on Kerry here. 9-figure deal sounds pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Sounds all right.
You know Jeff Bezos? Give him a text.
I don't know Jeff.
We know Trav.
I did go to a party once and I saw him
Yeah.
there.
We
He
know
looked
Killer.
really rich. He just looks rich now.
I was going to say, now he's buff too. Super villain swag. Not villain,
He
super
hangs
super
with all
hit.
the Amazon football, that whole crew.
Huh?
Does he really?
I think so.
Yeah,
You see that picture?
Chris has said
Straight hand
CT says he's really cool.
Hangs out with freaking Fitzpatrick. Man, damn.
We usually go fishing for like stars to be on the show.
Yeah,
We go
Bezos
fishing
on
for
it.
billionaires to be
That'd be tight, dude.
sponsors.
We already had one.
We have cubes.
Cubes. We had a couple, and then didn't we have another one?
Ernie's probably a billionaire. He's just
Secret billionaire.
He probably is.
I bet, bro. He's got the stock tips, man.
He cracked it.
He definitely did. We know Trav, though. Trav, let us hold a couple of that, bro. You got us in for a couple. You got the Edelman bump after Jules came on and told the hot tub story, bro.
Man,
That was awesome.
that was a fun experience. You know, and to top it off with a Boston legend like Scalabrine.
Scal.
And that's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Comment a game you want us to do. And remember
Rate and review.
to follow Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. Leave a message on the hotline at 424-291-2290. See you next week. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.